They don't win, but they keep getting favored week after week after week.
I mean, they beat Houston 2 weeks ago.
See, there it is. See, there's the meme. Me, when plans start after 8 p.m. and the cat just then disappears into the background. See, I can relate to that.
Okay, man. Like,
you really are like an 80-year-old woman. It's unbelievable. This is something that my grandma would show me on her iPad when I would go over to her house.
I can't even believe this.
It's so funny.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog, the Week 11 picks against the spread, Cust Corner, Super Locks, everything else in between. Geoff Fienberg joining me on the line right now. Did you smash the like and sub to the channel, Geoff?
I normally smash the like, and I am subscribed.
There you go. That's what everyone needs to do. If you're here, you can rate and review the audio podcast as well and use code Mayo at Underdog and get yourself a Jalen Hurts free pick for Thursday Night Football as well. Geoff, it's been a week since we've last spoken. How you feeling?
Oh, I feel good. Just a lot of things. There's like a nice crisp weather right now. Things are good. I got no complaints.
Well, as someone who usually does have complaints, but probably does not have complaints about how dark it is getting early out right now, it is Tim Undercust.
Tim Undercust.
That's not my name. And no, I have zero complaints about that. I am super excited that it's going to keep getting darker and darker for like another month and a half.
Okay, if that's not your name, what is your name then?
Not falling for this.
I don't know what you're trying to fall for. I asked you a question.
I know what you're doing.
And you won't answer a question, so...
No, I'm not going to. I'm not falling for this.
All right. Well, what I want to talk about first, Geoff, and I don't know if you guys covered this on Circles Back on Monday, but poor Cam is being attacked by the internet, and this needs to stop.
Okay. So no, it missed the cut for Circles Back this week. Although ironically, I threw some shrapnel at Drew this week on Circles Back because Pizzola asked me, is there anyone who you would like, who you fade? And I thought about the group chat and I thought about like some employees and just like as a joke. So like, yeah, sometimes camera 2 Drew, you fade but I don't know. I'm sure I'm shit also. As for the goods, I mean, Cam, I have a strong opinion on this and I guess you've asked me for it. So I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
If that happens right here, I don't think it goes very far. By right here, I mean Mayo Media. The problem with what Cam did is he said it on Canada's woke hockey internet channel. And their audience would probably find that offensive amongst everything that would happen here. But yeah, I believe that Cam just said it in the wrong place. He said it on the wrong channel.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. I didn't realize that Camera 2 Drew was working at the Woke Hockey Network.
Oh, they're doing great. They're doing great. They have their thing going. They're crushing it. That operation's got a following. I support Camera 2 Drew. He's crushing it. I think he just had a second kid. Muzzle tov, my guy Drew. I just believe, yeah, that's like a very, they play by, you have to draw inside the lines with the certain ideologies that are staunchly, I don't know. I think I've said too much, but free Cam Stewart. I'm a staunch Cam Stewart ally for life. There's almost nothing Cam could do where I could believe there's malice involved.
That's the whole thing.
Like the police could knock on my door and tell me that, there's like he's got people I would be that shocked friend who like, I never saw it coming. And I feel like we'd all be that same person. So he's just got caught up in it. He went on a rant. It's not probably Taylor Swift's coming to Toronto, I think next week or the week after. So she's in all our faces. Her mini economy, they're doing like a week of shows. So it's a straight like GDP of a country that's coming here. You won't be able to ignore it. It'll be in Cam's face. And in closing to my rant, I reached out to Cam because, everyone just send Cam. You'll talk about it. He'll give his side tomorrow, but just send him like a good vibe.
Yeah.
Because he takes things hard. He's a very sensitive guy. He's more sensitive than me. And I could sense this is hitting him, bothering him. It's not just like rolling off his back. So that would be my advice for everyone. Or so send our friend Cam like just some well wishes. Head up, champ. Head up, champ. This will blow over. This will blow over.
Yes, send your support at Cam Stewart Live, and you can even comment on this show or the show tomorrow when Cam comes on. Tim, do you have any idea what we're talking about?
I haven't the first clue what you are talking about.
Okay, so Cam...
I am so not... My world is clearly so divorced from the world you all live in that I have no idea what you're talking about.
They put on Cam was doing like a pick show, and he said something about the Bills and Chiefs game. He's like, and Taylor Swift's going to be there, and we'll throw her in Niagara Lake or something like that. Like a Cam-ism, just a very like off-color type comment. Well, I guess the Swifties found it, cut it out, posted it, and now people are sending him death threats. Like a lot of people.
But it's also getting written up by like Sports Illustrated. So it's
being written up by Sports Illustrated?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you think of Sports Illustrated as something that it isn't. But it's just it's being written up on like internet blogs.
Oh my goodness.
Because
like
it has
with
the name.
sports and-
Well, you can put the name Taylor Swift in the SEO, and then people will click on it. Then more people keep finding it, and then they were saying that Cam is trying to incite violence, and they called him a terrorist. Like,
Listen,
it was an offhanded
I'll
comment.
give it more context. He was Tim. Cam was just ranting as like the football fan that he is, in the context of, look at all these games the Chiefs have just pulled out. Like, it's so annoying. Cam, like a lot of us up here in Ontario, we got the soft spot for the Bills. It's like a mini playoff game this week. It's being built up. You could feel it here. There's a lot of like pro Bills energy locally. And in the same way he would say that about, like, he spoke about her almost like she's the mascot in a sense, which she's become. And a lot of the rhetoric, which was going viral last year with the anti-Taylor Swift football fan stuff, that really feels like it's died down this year. They're just grasping for that sort of engagement. And Cam got caught up in it. But Pat, I absolutely believe if he made that comment on Sports Grid chatting with Scotty Farrell, it goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. He said it on an outlet where the audience is very different from, I think, this audience or I don't know. That's all. I believe that. That is my conspiracy theory of all of this. And it's unfortunate because we all know Cam and there isn't a bone of malice. Like, oh my God, Cam could solve some of the world's like peace problems just by having them bet a couple races with them. Like, I mean it. He could bring people together. As Gabe wanted to incite like radio wars and all this intense, they said something about us. We're going back 15 times harder, be it inside the office or fellow radio stations. Cam was always like, no, I'm going to attack this with like peace and love. And yeah, I actually feel bad, like kind of more than like a little bit bad. Cause I know it's hitting him hard.
I have only ever known Cam to be sweet and friendly and outgoing and a great person.
Joy. He's got so much joy. Even when he's down, he can bring joy.
So yeah, I reached out to him as well.
He was cutting like a wrestling promo. You know how he does it?
Yeah.
It's like an early 90s, 80s wrestling promo for Survivor Series. Oh my God, you could just picture him. Oh my God.
Yeah, so send your support at Cam Stewart Live. Stand with Cam. Chin up. We'll be back on the show tomorrow. We'll maybe even not talk about it with Cam because he probably doesn't want to talk about it at this point. But let's recap. Last week, the coin was the big winner. You know who was the big loser, Tim?
Who?
It doesn't matter who the big loser is.
See, I knew this was coming.
It was me. I was the big loser last week. I was 3-11 against the spread. 3-11. But Geoff, here's how good I am running. Out of those 3 wins, of course, I'm the only one who hits my super lock to go to 9-1 on the super lock for the year. And I showed Tim when we were watching football, I made a big bet on the Giants early in Munich, and it just obviously they didn't win. And then later on, I go and check my account to make a bet later, and I have a whole bunch of money in my account. I accidentally bet Carolina instead. That's how hot I'm running right now.
That is some pure moving, Pat. Good for you, buddy.
Have you ever done that?
I've done it reverse in like the wrong way, I feel, and thinking I bet something and I screwed it up, and you only have yourself to blame. And as for last week, I should have, like you, just followed your lead and gone back to the Chargers with my super lock. I took San Francisco, and I'm filing that under protest.
Yeah, that really should have been a cover for you. You were 6-8 against the spread to keep within shouting distance of Cust, who went 7-7. He remains 1 game above 500 at 73-72. The coin was 9-5, so the coin's doing great. 76-69 for the year for the coin. I'm 61-84. I'm now 12 games behind you, Tim.
A lot of games, but that's still like 6 or 7 weeks left, so nothing is in the barn yet.
This is true. So super locks, I won. I'm 9-1. You guys both lost. Geoff is 5-4. Tim, you're 3-7 on the super locks, and your teaser lock. I think you lost 3 legs of your 5-game teaser.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. That's why we're going with a little different strategy this week.
Will it include or not include the Jets? Because that was not a good pick last week by any of us.
No, God, no. And I see their number just keeps rising and rising this week too.
I bet on the Jets.
I know you did.
Probably. I should forensic accountant my bull betting account portfolio to see just how much money I'm going to be down on the Jets this year.
Geoff, listen to me. You don't want to put yourself through that pain.
No,
I don't actually. I wouldn't. That'd be like, there's a lot of things you'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't want to know how much I spent on this or that over the course of the year. Tommy Fleetwood would probably be the one thing for sure.
It's like screen time. You don't really need to know your.
Yeah, I don't like.
Time.
I just
you don't need to know like how much you've spent at any particular restaurant.
I ignore those messages when my phone tries to tell me. I just no disregard. I don't need that.
Well, it's not even accurate, right? For those of us who like my screen is on and I'm not actually looking at the screen for period.
Yeah, because you listen to your music with music videos. Well, this is it, right?
YouTube. Or I'll even fall asleep with like a podcast or video open on YouTube. So like,
I don't
that's
mean
not
to
real screen
relitigate,
time.
but I got probably more correspondence about you and those goddamn matzo sticks, like way more than usual, about people just really confused by you, Tim, into the point where it got litigated at my Sunday gathering. And it was almost to the point where, like, if you were going to the studio house for football, it would still be weird because you'd leave it for Jared or Pat or Paul to clean.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, I brought matzo sticks for the boys, frozen box, we're going to cook them. But to walk into someone else's party, like that was the consensus. I don't know. I got hit up a lot about it.
Yeah, sure. I guess I should bring nothing. That's the lesson. Understood. Don't act in a kind way, in any way, shape, or form, and also have an encyclopedic knowledge of all of your friends' appliances, so that if you show up, you can use them. Like the demand being put on me here is so extraordinary and is so foolish.
Crazy.
Well, this got litigated a lot in our group chat too. That's when one of these topics hits, when everyone I know just has like an opinion to weigh in on it. But I think this might be a galaxy brain move by Cust, because his now 2 options are bring the matzo sticks, make you make them, and make you pay for them, basically. Cook for them, clean for them, serve them to you so Tim can sit back and have them, or nothing. So now he's just going to choose nothing and save all the money.
This is...
Or cook them beforehand and bring them there room temperature, which apparently is the other thing you might want. Like, you people are so out to lunch with how the real world works.
Oh yeah, we are, are we?
Yes.
Excuse
yes,
me,
you are.
I'm the one speaking of knows how the real world works. I'm the one who properly predicted how the real world thinks last week, not you.
Well, you guys were
So
both.
I
In,
probably have better
in
perspective.
fairness, you guys were both wrong. You
What
underestimated
does that
your.
mean?
I mean, what did you have? 270? It wasn't 270. It was way more than that, wasn't it?
No, I had like 271, but all that matters is I won and covered. If the spread is 2 and the team wins by 42, that doesn't mean I was wrong. I mean, like the pollsters and they're wrong. And yeah, like I'll admit I didn't see the blowout, but no. At least I knew that like it was going one way.
Did you
I
have
watched too much cable news to believe the blowout was possible. I'll give you that.
Okay. So, yes,
All right,
Tim.
stipulated.
You can bring something else besides Mott. Just bring a bottle of wine for people. That's easy.
But I don't want wine.
Well, it's not for you.
No, but it's for everybody,
No.
and I'm part of the everybody.
It's not for you. If you're bringing a gift to the host, it's for the host.
Bring like a shrimp tray then. Something that I
But
don't
that's
know.
not
There's
what
just-
I want to bring. I want to bring matzo sticks. I think
Yeah,
you're the
but you
hero of
can't-
the party when you bring it.
No, you're not. You're
They-
not.
People, no, you are, because people are hyped when they're served, and
It
like
sounds
People
like
are
it sounds like
amazed.
you're hyped when they're served because
Amongst
you didn't have to anything to do with cooking them.
There's a
Well,
level of gall that it takes to walk into someone else's hosting event where everyone else has like brought something and you bring a bottle like straight from the frozen aisle, a box from the grocery store, a frozen aisle to table, like for someone else's party.
it doesn't bother me. It doesn't seem to me to be a problem
Have
because
you,
like I'm not
have
asking.
you
I'm not asking
encountered
them to like you know,
one person yet who agrees with you?
I really haven't had very many in-depth discussions with people about it.
You saw our group chat. You're in that group chat.
Oh yeah, but that thread will go in circles where everybody is just out to get me, no matter what I'm saying anyway. So
Those fake news.
no, I'm not saying it's fake news. I'm just saying sometimes you just can't win. Like just an opinion gets
No, this
stirred
one
up,
you
and then-
can't win. This one, yeah, you can't win.
No, you're right. Don't ever bring any boxed wings
No,
or matzo sticks to a party. Don't ever bring those to a party because the host will think you have asked them to cook you a 6-course gourmet meal.
Then why
by
can't you do
asking
it?
them-
dude, no.
I don't
there's
know
like
how
a
to
certain
work their
party.
appliances.
If
Well, how do
it's
you not?
someone-
Hold on. Just hold on for a second. How do you not know how to use a fucking oven?
I don't know how to
Everyone,
use
you
anybody
can
else's
use
oven
your
but my
oven.
own.
You can use your oven. You can use anyone's fucking oven.
I don't know how to use your oven or deep fryer or
Why? Okay,
whatever it
we
is.
wouldn't let you touch the deep fryer. That's fair. That would get you
yeah,
burned. But other than that, and you don't deep fry anything anyway. You air fry them. It's one
Can I
How
make
to
button.
a
use your air
comment?
fryer.
On.
There's just a type of party in which you can bring them, and the party in which you've explained is where you absolutely cannot bring them. The boys are getting together for football. Some dudes brought some chips. Someone else ordered pizza. You're gonna throw some of these matzo sticks in the oven and whatever. And the host will be like, "Okay, I guess I gotta clean that, but I'll do it. That makes sense." To like an actual party where everyone is
Making something nice.
like agreed to the contract of like bringing something and putting forth like just a monicum of effort. That is not where it's allowed. Where a host is actually like giving her all day to host a party.
Well, where is
That's
this written
where
in the
it's not
rules? Who made this decision? Where
I'm just telling you, I'm trying to
what
help
book-
you.
What book can I consult, Jeff, so I can learn all the ins
You
and
know
outs
what? There is
of,
there are books on etiquette. There absolutely are.
Oh, there's
forget
etiquette.
her-
I didn't realize there's etiquette about bringing a gift for people to eat at a party.
it's
And
not a gift.
I guess
You got a gift for you, and you want someone to make
I'm
it for you.
I might have one of them, two
Tim,
at most.
Tim,
It's there for the people.
We don't need to relitigate the meatball situation from my party every year.
Well, you're right, because I'm the only person who can speak confidently to the meatball situation.
All right,
The only
I
other
would
witness
like to throw
was
this
in no
back.
shape
I
to
would
testify.
like to throw this back to Paul because you're afraid Paul is some sort of drunk who's standing
That
there not
evening-
knowing what's
that
going on.
That evening, Paul would not have been fit to testify.
Paul
to the
wouldn't have been
meatball
fit
consumption.
in 2 hours, not by the time you fucking gorged all the meatballs, which was within
I didn't
20 minutes of
gorge.
being there.
I didn't gorge all
By
the
the,
meatballs.
they
This
were
is-
gone by the time that most people got there.
They were really good.
Do you
But it
think
wasn't just me eating them. Of course, again, everyone's against me. Everything's against me. I get it. I understand.
No, some of your takes are weird, but fine. Like daylight savings, I get it. People who are go-getters in the morning, they're giving her get that sun out. Why support the lollygaggers? Like there's a while I don't agree, there is like, okay, that one makes sense. I can see why some people agree with Tim on this. This is, I'm telling you, this is just wrong. As friends, I'm not even giving this advice to be rude. I'm giving it like friendly, despite maybe you think it's rude.
I don't think it's rude. I just think
want the
people have
people to
lost
weigh in.
it.
I want the people to weigh in the comment section on this. Do you agree with Tim about this stance on bringing food, frozen food, to a nice dinner party or potluck that then you have to make for him and clean up yourself so he can have them right away?
And it's not for me. It's for the people who are gathered. And there's no other way to cook them but right there on the spot. And I don't know how to use their appliances. And plus, I don't know. Some people are very particular about how their appliances get used or cleaned.
Who?
And
Well, I mean,
I'm extremely particular
so
about, for example, how my air fryer gets cleaned. Extremely particular.
Why?
Because I want it to be sparkling.
Okay, then you know what? Why don't you clean the other people's fucking air fryer that way? If you're like,
I don't know how they like theirs cleaned.
You know what? They would like it to be less clean, Tim. That's how they want it cleaned.
They want the guy who brags about how good he's cleaning to just give his effort. Like,
so now I have to spend all my time at this party cleaning somebody else's appliance. Because it takes me actual like legit time to get this air fryer as clean as so that I feel comfortable putting it back under the cabinet. It has to be a certain level of clean before I am comfortable putting it away. Like if there was like a crumb in the air fryer and I put it underneath the cabinet, like that would bother me to no end. It needs to be completely sparkling. So this takes me like real
this
time.
is really weird for a guy who leaves his garbage all over the studio house.
That hasn't happened.
But you know what? That's my place, though. That's not Tim's place. So he basically just treats our entire place like a garbage can.
No, I don't. That has not happened in years. As you know, I've been very diligent about picking up after myself.
Found a Diet Coke this week, not put away. It
wasn't one of the ones. You don't know that was me.
You
don't know that.
2 Diet Cokes.
You don't know that was me.
Well, I know there was 2 people drinking Diet Coke, and one was me, and I threw mine out. So I do know it was you.
I have no memory of this.
Well, just because you don't remember it doesn't mean it didn't happen, Tim.
Tim, I was just saying that last week's Cust Corner, like as Pat mentioned in your guys' group, this one hit. Like this one, people wanted, people needed my ear to tell me what they thought about it.
It was much better.
Well,
it hit a lot harder than people should eat ground turkey. Put it that way.
Look, people should eat ground turkey and turkey bacon. These things are great. I'm not going to sit here and listen to you criticize turkey.
When was the last time you had turkey?
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so it's real good. You're having it every day, huh?
No, I'm not having it every day. I should have it more often. It should be, if they sold turkey stuff at fast food places, I would eat it.
I mean, why can't you just go buy turkey and make it for yourself?
Well, I do sometimes.
Not
but
often.
Like I wish,
not often.
I wish that like I wish they had like egg McMuffins with like turkey sausage. I'd be all about that.
I mean, they have those at Starbucks.
I don't know if they do or not. I never got them. I never really get a breakfast sandwich. So the only thing I get there are those egg bites that are like 1,000 degrees.
I mean, you can let them cool for 30 seconds.
Oh, but then they're no good. You want them hot and fresh.
You don't. You just said you don't. They're too hot.
I do want them hot and fresh. Well, that's why I scalded myself on them.
All right, let's get to the games. Thursday night football is up first. We have Washington at Philadelphia. It doesn't seem like Marshawn Lattimore is going to be active for this game either. Brian Robinson, did return to practice, Geoff. The Eagles are favored by 3.5 at home. I think it's a great test for the Eagles because if they blow out Washington here or have a very convincing win, would you rate them as the clear number 2 team in the NFC?
For me, yes. But I'm also like an Eagles stan that's kind of been riding with them all season. I feel like I'm beholden to picking them in this game. I feel I'm a lot closer to Tim than maybe most people on Washington this year and what their true outlook is. I know like Pizzola incredibly bullish. I think he even invested in futures on them to, through the NFC, the Super Bowl, maybe even. I don't see it. I think the Eagles are a step up. I think the Eagles can test them. Although I am always impressed by how their defense stands up. I'm going to take the Eagles on this short week to beat the rookie quarterback to win by this number. Cover. Eagles win division.
I have Washington here. Tim, I'll take them plus 3.5. It seems like a lot of the Washington losses and the Washington bad performances, outside of really the Baltimore game, the game was somewhat close, but Baltimore like clearly beat them. And it's like even last week, they probably should have beat Pittsburgh. And they just didn't. Like they have to start overcoming some of these close game things. Like, when they couldn't score in the red zone and had to win on a Hail Mary. They got the win in that one, and they should have won by a whole bunch. And week 2 against the Giants, I think it was, when they kicked 7 field goals and just couldn't put them away. That we see these little instances crop up, but I mean that's really nitpicking for a team that's been really good all year.
They've certainly well and overachieved from what we thought they would do. That's fair enough. But this team is still, the defense has been better than it has been. The defense still has some real problems. And the offense can get into ruts where they just don't score at the level that they should. And Daniels has games where he doesn't quite play, like the world-beating level that he sometimes plays at. So there's still inconsistency there, which is to be expected for a team with a rookie quarterback and a first-year head coach on the team and a lot of players that don't know each other. Like these things are all expected. The fact they're doing as well as they are is impressive. But this is a good measuring stick for where they're at, and I don't think they really measure up. I'm making Philadelphia the first part of a money line parlay.
I don't even think I can bet this game because I feel like I have Eagles division futures, and that'd be essentially just doubling down on the same bet.
Yeah, in a lot of ways it would, because they win this game. They're up by what, 2.5 in the, I guess.
I mean, if I bet it and I lose, I'm going to lose 2 bets. It's like losing 2 bets on one game.
Yeah, it's like betting on the Jets.
So are you taking
that? I do that way too much.
Just lose.
So you're taking Philly money line. Are you taking the minus 3.5 too?
I am. I think they win this game by like 7-10.
Oh, by 7. I was like, you think you win the 7-10? That would not be the outcome that I would predict for this game. And that would mean that they wouldn't cover at the same time. I hear what you're saying on that now. All right, let's move on. Chargers are hosting Cincinnati, Geoff, on Sunday Night Football. This also feels like a big measuring game for the Chargers right now. -1. The Bengals are still the team in the NFC that everyone is simply waiting for to go on a run, make a move, make the playoffs, get that 7 seed. And a lot of it would begin if they can go in and just beat the Chargers pretty handily. But Jeffrey, I don't see that happening. I think the Chargers cover this number and win on Sunday Night Football because until the Bengals beat someone good this season, I'm just not picking them.
That's fair. Bengals played a lot of close games. I feel like they've lost by like 1 or 2 a couple times, and they've lost in overtime this year. The narrative for this week on the Chargers is, let's have them show me something, which is totally fair. I get it. I don't think it's to the level that, like, who was it last year? Was it Dallas or Miami, where we were like really deep into the season and they still literally beaten nobody? I don't think we're at that point with the Chargers, but they have beaten nobody. But I'm also very confident that they will hang in all of these fights for the next month. I'm very confident. And, well, it means absolutely nothing. The Steeler and Chiefs game, Herbert played with one leg. He didn't get hurt in the Pittsburgh game. He shouldn't have played the Pittsburgh game, and he re-aggravated it in the Pittsburgh game. And then as for, I don't know. So can they get beaten over the top? Is there some vulnerability there? For sure. Because I don't really think they've played a quarterback who can test them over the top like Joe Burrow can. Will Levis had the arm strength to do it, and he did it a couple times. So the Chargers will be susceptible to that. But Bengals got extra rest. I don't know. I don't really give a shit. I'm pretty fired up. My expectations on the season haven't changed much. Although I am thoroughly impressed with everything that has freaking happened. So yeah, bolt up. Herbert's fucking amazing. And for all those like casuals in LA who don't give a shit about the Chargers or give a shit about the Rams, like if this would be the one game to go to, I feel like this would be the game to go to. This is some high level quarterbacking of the arts in this game, which should be an absolute pleasure. But we've got Herbert running on tape now, so we're even more dangerous.
So, Chargers for me, Chargers for Geoff. Tim?
I love the Chargers here. They're another part of the money line parlay.
Jeez.
And
Why? Why do you?
Why? Because honestly, it's a play against the Bengals, who look like they're sloppy. They don't look like they've been all that well coached all year. They don't execute. They don't win games. They score a lot of points, but they don't win. They're like a better version of the Jets, and that people have expectations for them week after week, but they just don't win anything important. And so now they're going to come into this game against the Chargers. The Chargers should be laying more than a point into the Bengals. They're the better team. The Chargers are going to the playoffs, so that we can say pretty authoritatively. The Bengals are on the outside looking in, and I don't care what the track is like. I don't care whether Higgins plays or not. I think the Chargers culturally have a defense set up to be able to shut down whatever the Bengals
What's culture?
Doing.
How do you
a defensive culture?
What's this culture you speak of? Because last week I mentioned it and you mocked me.
I mean, I'm just saying that they have a defense that is competently organized in such a way that they should be able to adjust to whatever Cincinnati is doing effectively in the game. And the offense is going to run the ball. They're not going to make mistakes. I think this is a very well coached team and a team that doesn't make the big mistakes versus a Bengals team, which I think is sloppier and makes all kinds of mistakes. And so if you're going to give me that option with the Chargers at home laying less than 2.5 points, I got to take the Chargers here.
It'll be really telling about the Bengals because will have had extra rest and they need it bad. Although the teams that chasing them for the wild card spot, I mean, maybe they could still lose this game and be very much in play. You could argue that. They go on bye next week. So, you'd almost think like Chase and Burrow. They almost want like the plane to leave them in LA after the game. He's got to get his frosted tips redone. So we'll see how that goes.
I mean, the Bengals could lose because with the way that the AFC sets up this week, like it's not impossible to see Miami, the Jets, New England, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Indianapolis, and the Broncos all lose this week. Like that's not out of the realm of possibility here. And it's just everything resets another week.
Maybe. I'm
sure one or two of those teams are going to win, or maybe all of them end up winning. But I think your point is well taken that the Bengals could lose this, come out of the bye, and still have a chance here.
Chargers, though, there'd be something to watch on the injury front. Fulton hasn't played a couple weeks. He's probably been their best corner this year. You'd obviously love to have him back for this matchup. Khalil Mack, I didn't even think he was going to play last week. He played. He only played 4 snaps. You hope that was more of I hope he didn't re-aggravate it. Bosa only plays like 25 snaps a game right now. There's a lot of injuries to monitor for the Chargers.
T. Higgins looks like he will be back for the Bengals. Yeah. Not certainly, but it's at least trending that way. And Leonard Fournette was brought into the building to potentially sign with the Bengals. Tim, does that change anything for you?
This team is not good. There's very few reasons for optimism here. This Bengals team is really flawed. People continue to treat them like they're like one of the upper crust in the AFC, and they're just having some really bad, unfortunate luck. But they're going to turn it around. They lose this game, they're going to be 4-7, and they're probably not going to turn it around. They're probably cooked. They may be cooked already. They're done probably, and the Chargers are not going to give up any quarter here.
But they have Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. They've
had Joe Burrow playing fantastically for 10 weeks. What has that got them? Nothing. What is it going to continue to get them? Probably nothing.
I think when you point to these teams that are on the periphery of the AFC playoffs right now, and you just kind of scan the teams, you're like, oh, this one team out of all of them has a top 5 quarterback that if they can just show any sort of defense, which you're right, they have not been able to do. But we've seen magically, halfway points of the season, great defenses turn real shit and shit defenses get average. They just had an average defense right now. They'd be in the playoffs. So there's always that hope that Burrow continues to play as well and they fix something. Maybe make some sort of adjustment coming out of the bye week and get it together. Although their schedule is pretty tough to end the year.
There's a lot of people like blind betting the Bengals here. There's a lot of people who think they're like the blind teaser play, which makes sense because
that actually makes sense.
Have a reputation of playing the close games. I'm sure it'll be a fun finish, a close finish. I would just like to it is beautiful to see what the Chargers can become, what they might have been earlier in the year from an offensive standpoint. But people forget that installing a new offense and then the quarterback has to get shut down during like maybe the 2 most crucial weeks of camp. That held the offense back. That showed. And then the quarterback got banged up early in the season and it held the offense back and it showed. But oh man, like they're getting healthy on offense as much as they're getting hurt on defense. I think the whole offense is really healthy right now. And it's just super exciting to think about what they will look like when they are truly built out in the vision of their maker.
I know it's only week number 11, Geoff, but what's it like rooting for a Chargers team that doesn't actively throw games away at the very end? The Arizona game is the only game I can think of this year where they looked and acted like the old Chargers.
Yeah, they had that moment, and they haven't turned the ball over, I believe, since that Rager fumble. Tim says coach lost his composure in that game. Well, we had a bullshit personal foul called when we were trying to get the ball back. So it happened one time. But you're right, Pat. The Chargers haven't played a good team yet. That is worth noting and has to be noted as you still try to figure out what they are.
They haven't played a good team. They played several good teams. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and they lost.
Oh, sorry. You know what's weird?
And all those losses are super close. So, like, that's no striking.
Sorry, they haven't beaten a good team. But yeah,
but those losses are super close. And
they hung
like you said,
they hung with them when the quarterback was hurt. But yeah, Pat, we all know the Chargers of old, they played good teams and they'd hang and they'd lose and it'd be fun and sadness and the games would be entertaining. They'd steal a couple because they had a lot of talent, but they always made it hard against the riffraff. And this year, we are just not. Like, there are moments in those games where I'm paranoid and I'm nervous. I'm always am. But when push comes to shove, we're the team taking the ball away. We're the team. Like, Justin Herbert is on pace for historic low turnover worthy ball rate. I saw a stat that has him up there right now on pace that's competing with with a Brady season and that insane Rodgers season where he only threw 4 interceptions. So it is just like marvelous and exciting. And on that note, they played the Chiefs. They've played them tough. For everyone, it seems like no one gets the Chiefs' tough losses are just discounted. Like, that's how us as an NFL gambling or fan community have been like, oh, they played the Chiefs. They lost a close one. Oh, the Chiefs lose close to everybody. Mahomes isn't Mahomes. But Denver's getting a lot of credit for essentially doing the same thing everyone else kind of did against the Chiefs. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm rambling now, and I haven't even thought about if the Jets had the Chargers record, how much would you be hearing about New Orleans from Tim and a Super Bowl, even if they weren't of that top tier? It's all he talk about. And I won't even maybe in a month we can evaluate that. Maybe in a month, but I can't wait.
This was all going well until you just took a complete unnecessary broadside at me there.
No, because it was actually brought up to me that someone mentioned to me that I have not mentioned that to them one time yet. Like, I think that shows that I'm in a really healthy space. And all season, I thought they'd compete for the back of the playoffs, and we're still there and we're going to punch someone in the mouth and they're not going to like it. And for all the people who need us to show them something, oh, fuck, baby. We're all in prime time for the next month. We're about to show you. Don't worry. Despite the most egregious travel bullshit, I'm not even going to talk about it. The travel stuff, the rest disadvantage, that's abhorrent. This is the last you'll hear me talk about it. I'm essentially McDonald's monopoly of this. It is not healthy for me to talk about it. That's something loser teams talk about. Good teams with proper coaches, that's just shit they show you and they overcome. So you can know I'm stewing about it in my head for the next month, but it will not come out of my mouth. It will not be an excuse. This is the last I will utter of the Widowmaker and the other bullshit that's coming.
Tim, are you going to be tuning into Netflix this weekend?
Yes.
Tuning into Netflix.
Yeah, so are you going to be watching the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight?
No.
Why not?
Absolutely.
So Jeff's all in.
Well, like Tim calls himself this maven of pop culture.
I don't know how pop cultural it is to see Mike Tyson, who's like, what, 60 some odd years old.
I think it's exactly pop culture. It's
No,
like
this-
a morphing of pop culture generations.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. That does not interest me in the least.
Really?
You'll be watching Kathy Bates.
Yeah, you know who hates?
I'll tell you.
Hold on, you know who hates the new Matlock, Jeff?
Who?
Tim, tell him.
So I was talking to my grandmother the other day. We were having a phone call, as we often do, and we were talking about what shows we're watching. And I mentioned to her how much I've been enjoying the new Matlock, and she vehemently disagrees and does not like the new Matlock. Thinks that it's too much of a soap opera. Doesn't care for it. So I spent a good amount of time trying to convince her that no, actually, it's really quite enjoyable TV. She's like, no, I've tried to watch this episode and then part of that episode and then part of this episode, and we just had to finally agree to disagree, because that show is one of the best broadcast TV shows I've seen in the last 10 years. But she doesn't see it that way. She just does not care for it. We were able to agree to disagree on that, and both agree that Dr. Odyssey is actually a really good show. So at least we can both watch that and agree.
And you don't find that really funny?
Well, I don't know if it's funny or not. I mean, you clearly find it funny. We don't agree on this television. That's okay. Not everybody likes the same TV shows. I think it's awesome. She doesn't think it's awesome. That's okay.
What do you think the line is? I'm looking at CoolBet right now. What do you think the line is, Tim, in the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight?
Jake Paul minus 200.
It's Jake Paul minus 240, Mike Tyson 2-1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would have guessed.
One is 30 years younger than the other, give or take.
Well, one guy's...
I don't know what I would have guessed, actually.
But this all... I feel like... Listen, I'm not a pro boxing handicapper, nor am I someone who watches a ton of boxing. But I gotta feel that, like, if he's at 2-1 and he's 20 years older, and Lord knows what Mike Tyson's like been through physically at this point, they must just be banking on, like, he's still got the power. If he has the power, he hits the one punch, it's absolutely curtains for Jake Paul.
I actually would have thought it would have been a high. Jake Paul would have been closer to like minus 350.
Yeah, so
now that I just thought about it.
I would have thought Jake Paul would have been a way bigger favorite here. Paul, you're more tapped into the fighting around the world issues here. Why isn't Jake Paul a bigger favorite? Because is he like the Ian Poulter and Sergio Garcia of the boxing world, where his lines aren't fair because no one wants to bet him because they want to see him get his ass kicked?
Like, you always have to be aware that these fights may be rigged.
Well,
But if it's rigged, he's not
that's
losing.
good. Yeah, if it's rigged, it's good for Jake Paul, isn't it?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guy is not like. I mean, he will lose at some point. He's going to run into someone. I'm not even anti Jake Paul, but I feel like at some point
He did lose. He lost to
he
Tommy
will run
Fury,
into someone. This
to
isn't gonna
Fury's
be-
brother.
but he's not going to sign up for a gimmick fight where he loses at this point in his game. I don't even know how to explain it, but I think you get it, right?
I would think so. Like, I don't see what the upside is for him. If he's like, what's he going to make from this? Like $75 million?
I've been watching. There's a couple episodes of some, how boxing or sports do, like the lead up docu show. I caught myself I caught myself watching it, and my daughter was in the room, and it just didn't end. Well, I just had to turn it off because Mike Tyson just says those words. But it was good. I think I'm watching it.
So what? You,
Yeah, I
what,
actually
so what
wanna
you want to turn into the woke Jake Paul Mike Tyson coverage? Then that's a network for you.
No, you can't.
Which is weird because earlier we heard the criticisms of woke networks. So now Jeff's really playing both
No,
sides.
Yeah.
listen. When my daughter's in the room or in the car, there's certain things I'm not going to listen to. That's all. Because
You're saying Rumble is not age suitable?
okay, man. No, but even listening to like some Stern stuff in the car, and
It's safe now, I bet.
oh yeah, I guess super safe. But that word, and then I'd be like, oh, we gotta change the channel. He's saying bad words. But that's a different topic. I actually this would be the sort of thing where if your buddies are getting together for, you could bring a box of matzo sticks too.
Oh, could I? Then it would be okay for whoever is hosting us watching this fight on Netflix for them to. It wouldn't be too much of an imposition, would it, to ask them to throw a box of matzo sticks in their air fryer? If it was a different type of party, I've committed the greatest faux pas in the history of social. Social
Yeah, I don't
conduct.
think you see. I don't know why you have such a hard time seeing how that line is walked.
I don't think there is a line.
I mean,
It's fine.
Literally, no one agrees with you.
Like, not everything is the same.
It's fine. Like, I don't know how to use your air fryer. Don't expect me to know how to use it.
Why not? Why,
You're not being invited over to use it.
How do you have a license to drive a car? Like, makes no sense whatsoever.
I don't know how to use your
don't.
appliances.
You just don't want to. Just say that. Say, I'm a lazy cheap fuck who doesn't want to do anything, but I want everything. That's all I want to hear. Because that's what you're saying.
I'm not going to say any
but
of that.
You realize by what you have said, that is what people hear.
You also realize most of these appliances are
I have to beep that.
like the numbers are bold. The power
You're
buttons,
gonna have
like
to beep that.
No, we don't have to.
I know.
We don't have to
We
beep
should.
anything.
We should. We should.
I just mean like they're made so the lowest dregs of society could figure it out the easiest way possible. Like it's not complicated. Now, what you're cooking in the dish and your ingredients.
Well, I also don't
that's
know
hard.
like what pan do they want me to use, like et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not I just it's just too much work.
It's too much work. So here's
it's no work for the host. It's no work for the host.
It's no work for the host when they're already hosting a party and getting everything organized, everything prepared to make sure that everything is going well. It's no extra work for them that you've dropped something that they weren't expecting on their lap. But it's too much work for you. It's no work for them.
It's really no work for them. They know their system. They just click 2 buttons. It's good to go, and they're happy they can serve this dish.
So if it takes 2 buttons to click, why can't you fucking do it?
I don't know which buttons to push. I don't
There's
know.
There's like 4 buttons on the entire fucking thing.
No.
Okay, hold on though. When I mean,
no.
Tim can't use it because I'm reminded of his washing machine story.
Yeah. Thank you. Remember who you're talking to.
Yeah, but you have air fryer experience. You have oven experience. You had no washer and dryer experience at the time. I bet you that wouldn't happen again.
But I had to look at the manual to get this air fryer to work correctly because there's all kinds of different options.
There's not a lot of different options. You fucking plug
There's
it in.
a ton of different options.
I have
air broil and air fry.
I have the same fucking air fryer as you.
Well, there's like 7 different choices that you can make.
And you always use the exact same fucking one, the obvious one.
I don't.
Which one do you use? Please walk me through this.
I use all of them for various things. Depends on what I'm cooking. Not a crazy person. I don't just push the same thing every time.
You wouldn't be able to do that at someone else's house then? So you have an in-depth working knowledge of an air fryer and all the different settings and how to use them, yet you don't think you could use someone's air fryer. That's your stance.
I don't know how to use their appliance. When you're hosting, you're anticipating.
Have you ever rented a car
of
before?
I don't think so.
What'd you say?
I don't think so.
Geoff?
Ask him if he's rented a car before.
No, he gets all of it. Like he's very good at making him seem so feeble that we have to do everything for him. It's a pretty good strategy. And like
I'm not going to say that I'm feeble, but
I mean, you can't do very basic things that like my 5-year-old.
I do struggle at many. I do struggle at certain. I do struggle.
For a guy that is quite bright, it's amazing how you can like just flip the switch of incompetence. Like it's awesome. Good for you.
Like even when he booked the one time he booked us a hotel, he booked it so badly. 2, I'm pretty sure no one would ever ask him to do it again. Like, it's quite a strategy he's got on the go here. Maybe we're all the suckers, and Tim's just reveling in it all.
Yeah, well, he does. He claims he dreams of having butlers, and he's turned all his friends into butlers.
No, but when you're hosting an event, one of the things you anticipate when you're hosting is that you're going to do stuff like this.
What, to have a person show up with fucking frozen food?
You
Absolutely
expect,
not.
I may have to throw something in my oven or in my air fryer that someone brought as a gift for the whole house. You totally expect that sort of thing.
Yeah,
That
you might need to warm up that pie before dessert.
Yeah,
I agree.
totally not out. It's totally not out of the. I'm not asking to do anything other than heat up something.
There is no way someone planning like an above mid-level nice event at their own home are they in their headspace of preparing for the day thinking somebody's walking in here with a box from the grocer's freezer I gotta deal with it.
As someone who hosts these events semi-frequently, then you're correct. No one would think that. This just shows that Tim doesn't host anyone.
That is not in your range of outcomes for what could be coming in the evening.
I don't agree.
I know.
I don't agree.
Okay, so we need to end this conversation the same way you and your grandmother ended about Matlock. We just gotta agree to disagree.
Green Bay at Chicago. Chicago is a 6-point dog at home, coming off an embarrassing loss at home. It has 6-point favorites to the New England Patriots. The Packers coming off bye week. Jordan Love should be healthier with that groin injury. Bears are actually better against the spread this year than the Packers have been. 4-4-1 for the Bears, 4-5-0 for the Packers. Seen a lot of Caleb Williams, anti-Caleb Williams stuff coming out this week, Tim. This is your pick from the... What's that?
He hasn't played well.
No, he hasn't. But there's been just like, oh, should he be given the Anthony Richardson? Should he be benched? And I don't think he's been as bad as like, it's kind of everyone gave him a pass, everyone gave him a pass, and it felt like the levee broke, and then boom, everyone just shitting on the guy all of a sudden, being like, oh,
they can't block for him.
Some of it is his own doing, though.
Sure it is. Some of it is his own doing. Some of it is that they can't block for him. Some of it is that he's a rookie, and it's going to take time to figure things out. There's no question the last 2 weeks have been abysmal. No one would dispute that.
The problem here, Caleb's biggest issue, friends, is everything you've said is fair. But we're seeing other rookie quarterbacks who don't have a good offensive lines stand in the pocket, make progressions, make reads, swallow plays that are dead. Okay? And that includes Bo Nix. So right now, he could be 4-4. And I'm not saying that's what's going to be in a year or 2 years or in 2 weeks. But at this moment, evaluating the totality of all of them, he's 4. And it changes quickly, and it's fluid. But who shows, like, yes, each play has a bigger potential of being a touchdown because he can always make something incredible happen. Or we've seen it enough to think that's still very much in there. But he doesn't know how to eat a bad play.
I mean, he took 9 sacks.
You watch Drake May.
He took 9 sacks against the Patriots. He ate all
you
those.
Watch.
Okay,
get rid of the ball.
You're about to say Drake May. I don't want to sit here and pretend like Drake May has been awesome, because he hasn't been.
He has been very good.
No, he hasn't. He has been slightly below average, and because
no, you watch the games.
I watched the games, and he basically doesn't fucking do anything.
He's got working with way less than the other guys too.
That is fair. That I will give you. But it's not like he's just some world be like, oh my God, sign me up for a decade of Drake May. Like, he just makes him. His arm is so good, it gets him into a little bit of a problem. His decision making, not necessarily the best. But it's no different than like Darnold.
but this is when he's supposed to figure that out
Sure,
at
but-
the pro level. And I'll tell you this, there is a level you're right. Maybe I'm overrating it, but what I'm not overrating that I will die on the hill on, there is a level of pocket and game awareness that I believe Drake May has and displays. It's like snap and snap again that you're just dying for Caleb to display.
I would agree with you on that, but I think it's very clear that Jaden Daniels has been the best rookie, and Bo Nix is a very clear number 2, and then there's a significant gap.
I disagree. I think Drake May, through the amount of starts he's played, it looks just as good as Bo Nix through that number of starts.
He really doesn't.
Through that number of starts. How many starts? The amount of where Bo Nix was at the start X that Drake May has just made, Drake May was better.
I don't agree.
So we'll see in a month.
What do you make of it, Tim? There's absolutely no reason to panic on Caleb Williams, right?
I'm not panicking. I have not been super impressed by Bo Nix. I think he's been fine. He's been okay. I think he's been like, not to bring anything back to the Jets, but he reminds me of like Mark Sanchez as a rookie with the Jets. Like,
Yeah.
there's real problems, but he's not the worst. I have been, like Geoff, maybe a little bit more bullish on the performance that I've seen out of New England, but that's still only a handful of games, and it hasn't been perfect. But I'm not worried about Caleb Williams. It's not fair to compare him to Jaden Daniels. He's going to develop at the rate he's going to develop, and I think there's no reason to panic. It's okay. In this game, I like their chances to cover that spread. I think it's too many points.
I
will
can't
take the Bears.
believe people. You're right. There's no panic on Caleb Williams. In fact, if there was a line out to who would still be the best, I mean, I guess Jaden's done so many cool things. He'd be eating.
Yeah.
He'd be eating chalk, but Herbert would have been eating chalk as Burrow had his ACL injury or something during that rookie year, right? So that all can flip, but people, how do you put this? People who misread the electorate remind me very much of the people who actually thought the Bears would like win playoff games.
All right. So why don't you just say me? Because it's me again.
What do you mean you?
I picked the Bears to go to the Super Bowl.
You're one of them. Oh, that's
as
right.
you know. I picked the electorate wrong. I picked the Bears wrong. So yeah, you're right. So me. You're right. You're people like me. Those inconsiderate people who bring great snacks to parties and can't figure out an electorate and pick the Bears be better than they are. Yeah, those silly fools like me. Go ahead, Geoff. Keep bashing us some more, and then take a deep breath and bet the Jets -4, and then come back and tell us again.
The Jets aren't in this game.
No, but you bet them every week.
Everything has to come back to the Jets with Tim, though. He doesn't want to talk about them yet. Can't stop bringing them up.
No, I respect that. I respect how his brain works.
It can't help my frame of reference.
This is a real tough one because the Packers off the bye and the Bears could be broken at the moment. So I'm going to lay these points, but hyper uncomfortable, and I could actually bet the Bears when it actually comes down to it. But as of this moment, when we're recording, I'm going to lay what I feel like might be some extra points.
I'm going to take Chicago as well. What do you think the advance line on this game would have been a week ago? I didn't look at it, nor do I really.
Field goal?
4.5.
3.5? 4?
3?
4, yeah.
3.
There's just a lot of kick them while they're down on the Bears right now. That just feels like too many points at home in division. But maybe the Hail Mary, that's another thing that I've been hearing. Like, the Hail Mary broke them, and it does kind of show that they have been broken since that happened to them.
You know what?
Against Washington, but eventually you do come out of it. What?
That was a tough watch on Sunday. Just like him, a lot of plays, no chance, but the Patriots just destroying. And you're right. Right now I am going to kick him while he's down, though. At least for the spread. But come Sunday, this could be a game that I flip-flop on. I don't see the Packers losing it, I'll tell you that much.
No, it would be a classic Fienberg game.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Is Jordan Love healthy?
No, he's never healthy.
Yeah.
I also, if you want to really get people mad, suggest that Jordan Love might not be that awesome. And then people get very upset about it and make a lot of excuses for why he's not good.
I don't want to I don't feel comfortable speaking on those things because I feel like I myself am one of those people.
Like, do you
I
think?
never blame Herbert. I
think,
never blame
Do you
him.
think that Jordan Love is in the same league as Herbert talent wise? Be truthful.
I don't, but there were some times where just Jordan was running around making these athletic plays. Where it was like, holy shit, good for him. I don't, but I'm biased as fuck.
What about you, Tim?
I think Love is not as good as people think quite yet. There's just too few games that he's. I don't know. I'm not convinced yet. I'm not saying he's bad by any means, but I don't think he's top 10 material.
There's just too many brain farts in. I
There is.
honestly believe the distinguishing factor right now between Herbert and that other tier of quarterbacks, if you don't believe Herbert belongs at the top, and that's totally fair, because there's like 2 or 3, maybe 4, where I don't think he's better than. But what distinguishes him to me from that next tier and why he might stand alone in his own is he doesn't give the ball away. Even when you think you got one. Like Tennessee, before the half, really annoying. That country strong hand. He's just too strong and powerful. Little forward flick. Sorry, incomplete pass. Incomplete pass. So what differentiates Herbert from the tier of quarterbacks that people like to debate him with, as a lot of them fall off and people realize they're not so good, is that they turn the ball over too much. Or even when they don't turn the ball over, there's just a lot of turnover-worthy throws in those games.
I'm with Tim. It's not that I don't think that Jordan Love doesn't have the potential to be really good. I think we saw that towards the end of last season when he went on the run. You're like, oh shit, this guy's lights out. Because when he's on, he's fucking awesome. You know who he reminds me of, Geoff? Jay Cutler. And
I mean, he does have some gunsling in that.
He makes one critical game-crushing mistake every single week.
Maybe out of the bye, LaFleur can coach that out of him.
It happens every week. Like, no, I don't think so. It's just who he is. It's just part of
I'm laying
the way
these
he plays
points,
football.
though. Even though I've talked out of both sides of my mouth here, I would like to just say I'm going to lay it with the Packers.
Well, I switched up the order of the game so we could get to the main event early. Indy and the Jets. Kidding. We're doing Kansas City at Buffalo. Buffalo favored by 2.5 points in this game. Unclear whether or not Taylor Swift is in Niagara Falls yet. Not quite sure on that. 45.5 is the game total. I'm writing down Kansas City. Don't let me change my mind, Tim.
Well, the Chiefs are the third part of my money line parlay at plus 110.
So I asked this question on Sunday night to Tim and Gary and Geoff, and I'm going to ask it to just pose it to you right now. Is this the week that everyone buys into, hey, the Chiefs never lose as underdogs. If you're getting points, just take them because it's free money? Or will everyone just talk themselves into Buffalo by the time this game kicks off?
It's tough because I'd say the Chiefs teasers seem quite comfortable. I mean,
so if that's the case, if people are in on the Chiefs teaser and we do see a lot of money come in on that, play Bills -10. Don't worry about the money line or whatever.
Okay, yeah, no.
Whatever blows up the Chiefs teaser, just go against that.
And this could be a game where the Bills have so much resentment that they do kind of try to run it up. And the Chiefs are like, okay, man, we beat you every year when it matters. We have 3 Super Bowls. If you want, like, we're down 10 points or 7. They wouldn't stop at 17, but we're down 17. It's fourth quarter at the Ralph in November. Fuck, I think you guys got us this time. Like, we'll save our And I honestly think losing for the Chiefs is the best thing for them. Maybe not this specific game because there's home field potentially at stake, and that does matter despite the Chiefs proving that it doesn't. This is like truly the anti-Pizzola way to cap the game, but I'm just with Cam and the vibes here. Like, we're just on the Bills. This is literally what I want to just see happen. I am so happy. Like, what a day. What a day. I don't even care about the 1 o'clock. I'm sure I do. I'm going to bet I'll lose money on it. But for me, like to go from this game to Herbert Burrow, this is the goods. This is the football goods. I'm so
Plus,
excited for it.
you're going to be at a Grey Cup party, I'm sure.
Oh, and the
cheer
Grey Cup.
To cheer
Yes.
your hometown Argonauts on. So
I'm upset the Argos are playing I'm upset the Chargers are in Sunday night during the Grey Cup. I actually do not like that.
Why don't you? Hey, buddy,
faces.
Hey, buddy, why don't you be a real Canadian? Tune out of the Chargers, watch the Grey Cup.
Well, the problem is, I could be on TSN Plus. You never know.
No,
what they're going to do.
You'll be on NBC. You can just watch it on NBC.
Okay, that is right.
Unless they run unless they're like, what's a bigger draw? The Jonas Brothers at halftime.
But I mean, I know that Chad Kelly broke his ankle, Geoff, so I know they're starting a backup in the Grey Cup. It's a tough spot.
Yeah, we were watching that. Argonauts. My dad is over 80, so he still really likes the CFL, and he was over Saturday. So we were watching. I was actually caught myself watching the majority of that second half. I believe they're a 10-point underdog because they're without their starting quarterback, and Winnipeg is very battle-tested. Good buddy of Patrick Mahomes, Zach Collares, leading the Bombers. You can maybe talk about it with Cam tomorrow.
You know who lives a real charm?
That'll make Cam happy if you ask him about the Grey Cup on the show tomorrow. If you need to cheer him up a little, that'll get him going.
Who lives the most charmed life in the world these days is Huss. Huss's hockey team is like 14-1 to start the year. His NFL team wins the Super Bowl, the Chiefs, every year. His Blue Bombers are a heavy favorite to win another Grey Cup. It must be nice to be a Huss because just everything goes your way.
I mean, it's worked out well for, listen, he lost his job at the local radio station. They shut the station down. And, the Winnipeg teams have been great. And they love their Blue Bombers. So I think it's been great for his business and his independent content operation. So I'm happy for him.
We love.
And yeah, he's living that.
He's living that sports dream right now. Like he has everything, and I've got nothing, and you've got very little except your Argonauts.
Are you bringing up Huss to make sure it takes away from him and things start coming to you? Is that what you're trying to do here?
No, I'm jealous. I'm supremely jealous of all the success he has. Like that's awesome for him because I'm, as a fan of the Chiefs for as long as he's been, like there were a lot of dry years there, as Geoff knows.
Yeah,
and, like
he was there.
Didn't have a hockey team for forever.
Days.
And the Blue Bombers were terrible for the longest time. So, like, I know that he appreciates just how bountiful of a buffet he has right now, and I'm extremely jealous. I hope my ship comes in one day too.
I'm on the Bills.
You're on the Bills.
Yeah.
I bet you Cam will be on the Bills too.
He has to be. He takes it way too personally. He's getting attacked by Swiftie. The Swifties are worse, but the Chiefs.
Are the Chiefs?
It's not just Swifties. It's like Chiefs fandom blogs are like joining forces with the Swifties and attacking him.
Are Chiefs fans becoming like Patriots fans that we remember at this point, or are they a bit more measured?
They are. As much as there's still a couple good ones out there, and we like them, but they are. They've lost. They just, they're pigs at the trough of winning, and good for them.
Do you wish that someday you'll get to be one of those fans?
One time. I'll be so happy. Just one
time. Just one time. That's all I ask.
And then I'll be a greedy fuck after the one time. And then like the next year at like week 5, I'll be yelling at people, and that's okay. But just give me that one.
No, see, this is where we differ. I will be so happy for my one time.
You say that. Everyone talks about the one time. It's like the people at the poker table who yell just one time.
Exactly.
They've been through 38 million one times. Like you get the one time, then you're begging for the next one. That's how this stuff goes. Like
listen.
It's nothing against the like 6 Super Bowl Patriot fans or what we're seeing with Chiefs fans right now. Like you just want more. It's always more. And you can't handle it when people don't think you're just the greatest all the time because you keep winning. You think you're the greatest. You don't understand why other people don't think you're the greatest.
And Pat, I would say that is just a very clear way of pointing out how I'm self-aware. Tim is insane. I realize I love the Chargers so much that like the year after they win the Super Bowl, when they get hosed on a face mask to end the game week 8 the next year, I'm gonna be like, Tim thinks Tim's pretending that he's just gonna come on the podcasts and be like, no, listen, I'll go to bed in my Super Bowl champions hoodie and it'll
Yes.
feel better complaining, but you're still gonna want those games.
No,
You're gonna want them.
I will want them, but I will be super chill about it because I can just go to YouTube and watch my team winning the Super Bowl, and that'll make me happy.
Now you just go to YouTube and watch Garrett Wilson make a catch, and you see
One of the greatest catches in the history of football, as we heard the broadcast say on Sunday.
Pat, where do you think this line finishes?
I think it's about right. I think it goes back towards the Chiefs on Sunday. Like once you get that public money coming in after people lose all their money in the early slate of games, they'll be like, who doesn't lose as an underdog? Patrick Mahomes, and they'll probably be right.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the people are done thinking it's cute to bet Mahomes to lose against these teams
but
that
they
are
don't
looking for revenge.
This line has already shown you, and it's probably the right line. Like Buffalo seems like they're better than Kansas City. I'm not saying that Buffalo doesn't seem that way. And obviously, if this opened I think it opened at 1, and now it's 2.5. That money has come in on Buffalo. Probably smart people have bet money on Buffalo, but they don't realize that when Patrick Mahomes is an underdog, you just bet on him to win, and he wins every time.
I am going to be betting. I'm
Buffalo.
embarrassed to say it because it's and unlike, they thought you'd go into the booth and vote against your husband or wife, whatever. Julia Roberts tried to tell you that. That's full of shit. But I do go into my betting accounts and make bets, secret bets, as Pat likes to make fun of me for. And I might have the Bills alt line in this game because I just want it for them. And Cam, I want it. I want it for him. And Blessing. Oh, my boys. Let's go.
So Kansas City for Tim and I, Buffalo for the coin, and Geoff. Jacksonville and Detroit is up next. Tim, how active was your Twitter notifications on Sunday night about Jared Goff?
Very. I mean, not only did I say really lovely things about Jared Goff, I also explicitly quoted a 5-interception game from a bad quarterback in the playoff. As always, things were just coming right back at me. But it didn't matter because the Lions overcame that, because the Lions are the best team in football.
Okay, so hold on. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but any case that Jared Goff has about being MVP was just extinguished right there.
Yeah,
that really hurt. I mean, that was particularly since Lamar continues to play
and
next level.
Let's take
football.
everyone out.
I agree.
Let's take Lamar out of this conversation. It's just the team is so good he can even play like shit and they still win. So he's not really doing anything.
Well, it's not that he's not doing anything, but obviously, that performance took.
Between that, they scored 40 points in a month ago. He had 50 yards. He doesn't need to do anything.
He doesn't. Well, again, the team can sometimes rely on him, but other times, he still made some really important throws in that game. But long story short, they completely emptied out any chance he had of being an MVP. Lamar is now a minus favorite to an MVP, and unless he gets hurt, probably going to happen. He's probably going to win a third.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
he's a minus 110 to an MVP. So
he's plus 105. Josh Allen's 3.5 to 1. Those are the two.
But another spot, I see him minus 110.
Well, this is
I've got Josh Allen 5.5 to 1.
This is why you should always shop for the best line, Tim. If you're going to bet Lamar, you should take him at higher.
No,
than
but they've played each other, and Lamar blew him out. So unless Lamar gets hurt, he's going to win the MVP.
See, I don't think you can say that anyone is the MVP in Week 11 because we all know every single year it comes down to the last 4 games.
Herbert was 100 to 1 2 weeks ago. Now he's 40. I don't think he can win it because they're not going to win the division.
If San Francisco reels off wins the rest of the season, Purdy's live, because that'll be especially if Lamar can still play well, but if Pittsburgh wins the division and they come in second, he's probably not going to win MVP.
I don't know that I agree with that. I think Lamar is the momentum is building for him to win another MVP. People want to see it happen,
but potentially peaking too early is the problem. This is the same.
Maybe
is it Russell Wilson who's never had an MVP vote in his career, despite the fact that in Week 9 and Week 10 for half the years he played, it's Russell Wilson's the MVP, and there's no votes.
Yeah, it's true.
How many times has Josh Allen been the favorite at this time of the year, and then he receives no votes? He was last year.
I don't think he receives no votes because I'm sure he's already received a couple in his career, unlike Russ. But you're not wrong, Pat. He's been the favorite for a lot of it.
Yeah, like these MVP markets are very squishy and they really tend to come down to what the voters saw last. So I wouldn't say that anyone is a lock at this point for any of the awards, to be perfectly honest.
If you've
with you.
got a
I
Christmas
think Jaden
Eve,
Daniels
if you've
is
got
a
a
lock.
Christmas Day game in prime time and you're in the MVP race, oh baby,
Yeah.
you could lather that shit good.
Yeah, it
Joe
does.
Flacco won comeback player of the year on prime time versus the Jets over the holidays. Like that's when it was like, okay, because he's the winner now. It's weird. It's graded on a December curve. Hardcore that the awards.
Oh, 100%. Like, what is Jaden Daniels for to be rookie of the year? It would be hard to see him losing, but if he gets hurt in 2 weeks, he's not going to win.
If he got hurt, how many? Okay, there's an X amount of weeks he could still win it with. If he played 13 games, I think he'd still win it.
I think so too.
Who is the other rookie right now doing stuff? I guess it was
Bo
Brian.
Nix.
Bo Nix. I mean, Brian Thomas probably would have been the guy, but then he got hurt 2 weeks ago, and then they lost.
So
Trevor
who's going to
Lawrence.
be the leading receiver for the rookies this year?
Marvin Harrison.
I think
Is
it's-
he?
I think it's still Brian Thomas right now.
Yeah, but like when it's over,
It's tough to say.
Brock Bowers.
it could be right.
I totally forgot about Brock Bowers. That's sort of an Edison.
You know, there was a throw. Never mind. I don't.
Yeah,
wanna talk about
Jaden
it.
Daniels is minus 1,400 right now to be offensive rookie of the year. Then it's 14-1 for Bo Nix, 35-1 for Brock Bowers. Brian Thomas is 40. Marvin Harrison is 40. Neighbors is probably the guy who could pile. He gets 10 catches a game for 50 yards, so he needs to up the yardage a little bit.
The thing about
What
those
about Ladd?
Daniels odds.
What about Ladd?
is-
Your boy Ladd. What if Ladd has like 12 touchdowns or something like that?
I mean, when I threw that little egg out there about the rookie receivers, I was just leaving the crumbs for one of you to mention it. But thank you, Pat. The odds on Jaden Daniels, it essentially represents what are the odds he suffers a season-ending injury in the next month.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I believe 12, 13 starts probably would still win him the award if he hurt himself for the year after that or at that point.
Additionally, like Derrick Henry being minus 140 to be offensive player of the year, like I would get that if the vote happened now, of course he would win. There's a lot that can go wrong with halfway through the season, Derrick Henry being minus 140. Like that's an absolute stay away, no bet ever, isn't it?
I'm trying to find it.
More so for him. He's a running back. They get hurt so much more often.
Not this year. Wide receivers get hurt this year, pal.
Um,
Well, this is my way of talking
Yeah.
about Detroit minus 13 against Jacksonville. I will take the minus 13. Why not?
I will too.
Let's make it all of us. And I would say to Tim's point about them being the best in the league, it's sort of like what we see from the Chiefs do. And we always think that just gives them more powers. But when you are a really good team and you win a game that you played horribly in, I actually think it gives you like it builds you.
You can. I think it depends on the team because this is a conversation that Jake and I had on the Power Ranking show, and we've been kind of dancing around it for a while as it pertains to Goff. Like I really just see Goff as like better version. Gary said he's better version Tua. I think on a championship team he's sort of like better version Trent Dilfer. That he can make
He's
some
like
of
the worst version of Drew Brees, kind of. No?
Yeah, I mean that's probably a good way to put it. And like we saw what Houston did, that if you can just get him off his spot a little bit, like he's not good. And that was the rap on him in Los Angeles too. Like in that Super Bowl, that's all the Patriots did. They just moved him.
Very
like
few teams can do that, though.
No,
Very few
I
teams have
agree.
the
But if you
ability
run
to do
into
it.
if you run into a team that can do it in the playoffs, they're probably dead. Is the problem? Whereas
I
with
just don't think I don't see an NFC team like the Niners don't have that push. I don't see anybody in the NFC who's going to do that to them. The Eagles, maybe. Like I don't know. Maybe someone in the AFC can. But I just think the Lions can beat you. They're the only team in the NFL I think that can beat you in and have proven this season they can beat you in any type of game you want to play.
Agreed.
You want to play a shootout? We'll play you that way. You want to play a close, low-scoring game that grinds the clock? I'll beat you that way. No one else can lay that claim. So I think
If I'm a
Detroit would
Lions
be-
fan, I
Detroit
don't
would be
know
favored
how.
over any team in a neutral site right now. And if that's the case, they're the best team.
Despite their tortured life of being a Lions fan, I don't know how if you're a Lions fan you haven't like flirted with the idea of tossing beads in New Orleans in February.
I mean, again, the year is just so perfect for them. They get to play like 3 outdoor games. It looks like they're going to play all their playoff games indoors, including a Super Bowl. Like, it couldn't be a more perfect path for them.
And this all ends like that Vikings team that had Favre and Goff just has a shit game in the NFC Championship or something, and they're done.
Maybe.
Could happen. I mean, it can't go worse than the last NFC Championship game.
Yeah. Vegas and Miami. Vegas coming off the bye week. Miami coming off a big win on Monday night against the Raiders. That's a great picture of Gardner Minshew. Is Minshew's? Do we know who's starting for the Raiders, Geoff?
I don't care.
I don't know.
Well, if it's AOC, who I don't think it is, that would be worse.
I don't know.
I still love the Sunday Night Live meme of something about Mary with you guys. It just plays so well on so many levels. This is a tough, like the obvious answer is Miami by margin.
See, I like Vegas.
What? Off a team off the bye? No, I'm just saying like that is like the quick, like why would I lay these points with Miami? They've done nothing all year. They showed life. Now it's a short week versus a bye. The dreaded, you've got 6 days. I've had 14. I like Miami, and if they win by 21 and get a bit of a rocket boost here for their playoff push that started last night, good for them. I have to just on principle take the team off the bye, getting the touchdown.
Touchdown.
There's other things you could talk your way in circles, but that's what it just comes down to for me.
I wasn't overly impressed by Miami on Monday night, Tim. I know they won.
No, they played
No.
poorly. And you can't trust it. This Dolphins are going to be a very popular teaser team. No, you don't tease them. Don't touch them.
I don't think they will.
I won't. I don't think that. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders win the game. I like the Raiders.
I don't think Miami will be a popular teaser team.
Oh, I think they will. Yeah, there aren't a lot of teaser.
I mean,
options.
that's a little lazy, low hanging. I need a teaser all touchdown favorites together. But I don't think
hold
there's
on,
like
Geoff. Who do you think plays teasers?
Man.
No, I listen, it is based on like even a smart teaser. It does check the boxes. Like it takes you from 7 or through 7 down to 1 or
it takes you through 7 and through 3. So the most popular, just looking at the board right now, the most popular teaser likely is to be Miami down to 1.5, Kansas City up to 8.5. And maybe
Packers down to a pick.
Yeah, Packers down, or you go Houston on Monday night down to 1.5.
Okay, you're right. I wasn't really staring at the full board to realize there's limited in the touchdown favorite category.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
But I would actually like to say I thought Miami. Truth be told, I think Miami dominated last night, despite the game being closer through a lot of it than it ever should be. From the first snap of the game, it felt like they were running circles around the Rams. And they're dumb enough or they have mistakes that allowed that to not feel like the case. But that's what I sensed happened last night.
Tyreek is hurt, and it's not good for them. Like, playing with a ligament damage in your wrist when you're a receiver is not going to spell great news here. He has one game over 100 yards this year, and it was the game he got arrested before the game in. That's it.
He will be shutting it down for surgery. Had they lost last night, there were reports he would be shutting it down.
No, but they've got Jalen Waddle, who's the greatest receiver you've ever seen. So they're all right. Don't worry about it.
Who told you that Jalen Waddle was the greatest receiver you've ever seen?
People are nuts
because I
about
told him Waddle was better than Mike Williams. That was like a big summer thing.
I mean, it does seem like Waddle was still better than Mike Williams.
Yeah,
Tim hates Mike Williams now.
I don't know. The Miami Jets head-to-heads should still be interesting, though. I'm still looking forward to them.
Did you see the internet reaction to Tua trying to make the tackle after the interception?
Fuck the internet. It's the same people yelling at Cam for that shit, probably.
Like, it boils down to, I mean, you've said it before, and listen, I don't want to be the you didn't play sports type thing, but it's got to be people who've never played sports before. Because you're not going to be in the middle of a play and you're Tua, who's a gamer, and then not try to make the tackle. That's just a part of him being a football player. Like, it's not like he's just going to walk over to the sidelines. Like, what do they expect him to do? That's just
it is impossible. Can you imagine playing in the NFL, and in that like 4 to 6, 8 second window that a play exists in, you are not giving 100%. Like it's like
I watch it every week.
no.
Every single week, I
No,
watch people
I
on
know
plays
people
give up during the play.
Okay, I know people are going to spin that, but I mean in the mindset that you are I just don't believe in that window. Like when guys say they're playing banged up, they're not. Like in that window of the 5 second play, they're giving all they got. I believe that. Maybe I'm an
Unless
idiot.
it's the Super Bowl and Cam Newton doesn't want to dive on a fumble.
I mean, maybe that's why. Like, I mean, if Cam had Tua's like get up and go and gumption, maybe Cam would have been the greatest quarterback ever. That was always kind of
Maybe.
like the tag on Cam, though, wasn't it?
I
It's just
love
all about
Tua.
it's all about the cameras. Oh, you love Tua now.
Yeah, I
I'm,
root for
I'm
him.
glad to see the him. I am too, in the sense I love
Do you want
seeing
to
him
know?
out there
I
playing.
like, yeah, because you know why, Tim? As much as, listen, I can hold a grudge, but whether they know it or not, they've laid down their sword. And now I can just embrace the guy and I root for him.
And
Yeah,
Tim,
I have no ill will against him.
Tim can't be critical of Tua anymore because in our group chat, every single week we have a friend who just brings up the passing chart of Aaron Rodgers, and he's basically more. And after Tim called Tua a check down artist for the entire course of his career, just showing you Aaron Rodgers passing charts every single week, Tim.
Oh well, he doesn't throw the ball down the field anymore. I stipulated.
Tua made some incredible throws last night to put that game away. I thought that's the best. Listen, that season, I'm now going to be in a Miami apologist, despite I'm on the Raiders here for these points. Not shocked if Miami kills them. But it does feel like it's kind of hard to fully evaluate the Dolphins season. They deserve what they got. They invested as little as anyone in backup quarterback with an injured quarterback, and they made that bed and they sleep in it. But it's really hard to evaluate them other than to know that and also acknowledge it's a really veteran team that is going to be in trouble this offseason.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So Vegas for the three of us and Miami for the coin. So if you're betting with the person who's winning the most on this show, you will have taken Miami and Jacksonville in the last two games, not Detroit and Vegas. Just throwing that out there because the coin is on an island against us, and usually when that happens, the coin emerges victorious. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, a 3-point dog in this game. It's a Deontay Johnson revenge game, Tim. It was 3.5, sorry. 3.5 is the line. My bad.
Oh, even easier.
Do you really like Pittsburgh that much? Because the Ravens seem significantly better.
No, I don't.
Well, Geoff seems to.
Okay, I just mean, do I like them that much? No, but for the purposes of having to make a pick on the game that I'm not certain of, it makes it easy. It's a classic NFC, AFC North game. Even last week, I zigged back to the Steelers. Even if Washington gets the ball back, goes and wins kicks a field goal, they only win by 2. They don't cover. I believe the 3.5 in this game gives you a ton of outs. It gives you a ton of outs to either collect your winnings. Oh, I guess there'd be no push. But yeah, you got outs in a lot of places here. If this was a primetime game, I'd absolutely be betting it. But I don't love it that much. But I think it's an easy decision. That sounds weird. For the purposes of having to pick it, it's easy because I'm getting 3.5. To actually have to really bet it, not as easy.
Yeah,
I know how many times in this decade Pittsburgh has beaten Baltimore?
Twice.
I didn't know.
They are 7-1 in the 2020s against Baltimore. Pittsburgh is 7-1.
Really?
Seems impossible, including both sweeping them last year and winning both games by a touchdown last year.
I don't. Is it?
Yeah,
Is it
Pittsburgh has been dominating.
Do we not?
So
So
they
collectively
have,
not
like-
remember this?
So did
I'd
they
look it
have
up.
some counter to the Papa Shango Tomlin voodoo? Like, how do they do it?
They don't do it. The Steelers are 7-1 against the Ravens.
Oh,
The Steelers
Sorry.
own the Ravens since 2020. It's quite remarkable. All that to say that that if you wanted to take the Steelers, that would be some good ammunition for you. That the Steelers have owned Baltimore in the Lamar era
I mean-
pretty substantially. I'm going to take the Ravens because I think the Ravens are a cut. I mean, obviously they are a well cut above Pittsburgh because they're laying 3.5 points on the road. I just think the traditional paint by numbers analysis of these guys are always super close and it's a 3-point game just doesn't fly here when Baltimore is significantly better. And I don't think Pittsburgh can score enough to be in this game. I expect the Ravens to score anywhere between 27 and 34. And that means to me, I don't think Pittsburgh can catch up. And I like the Ravens in this game. And I like the Ravens so much that they're the other part of the money line parlay. And that's all four of them. That's the parlay.
Philly, Chargers, Chiefs, Ravens as the four teams on the money line parlay. I'm going to side with Pittsburgh here at 3.5. I don't have a lot of confidence in it, but like I said, if they're 7-1, I'm going to use that. Wasn't even thinking that coming in. What I was thinking of is that I do think that Pittsburgh can score a lot of points in this game and try to keep it within 3. I can see them losing by 7 or 3, or I suppose 8, depending on how the score goes. Like, I don't think that Baltimore's going to have huge issues putting up points against Pittsburgh, but I could see this being one of the games where Lamar gets like a greasy turnover somewhere along the way, or there's a weird fumble because that's just how Pittsburgh plays defense every week. It's like, sure, it happened. But their offense with Russell Wilson has been good enough, and Baltimore's defense is not good. That's an issue.
Yeah, sure is.
It's incredible.
Although I guess Mike Williams has learned how to run routes now, so that helps.
It's the same route.
No, this time he's actually running the correct route. Aaron showed that he had run the wrong route.
The quarterback put enough air on the ball. Maybe that.
Yeah, no, nothing is Mike Williams' fault.
Mike Williams is at a lot of fault.
How come? Hold on. How is anything never Aaron Rodgers' fault, Tim?
There are things that are his fault,
but
not the things that actually are substantial.
Name the things that are Aaron Rodgers' fault.
I think he's not been willing to push the ball down the field nearly as much as he should the last couple of weeks, and he's holding onto the ball too long.
And what's that make him at fault for? That he holds on to the ball too long? So
that the offense is not.
So the offense sucks because Aaron Rodgers sucks, is what you're saying.
The offense is amazing.
It's amazing for knowing Mike Williams for a week. They were able to execute the play that everyone who knows anything about Mike Williams was saying, like, just run that play. And they did it for a touchdown in a huge moment. Yeah, sorry. Like the ball that Mike Williams took the most heat for from the Jets, Aaron Rodgers underthrew it. So
underthrow it. He ran the wrong route.
Sure. Anyhow,
this is all on Mike Williams.
No, maybe it is. That being said, it's another Tomlin masterclass, and it truly is incredible how good. Like Pat,
this is his finest work.
I would agree, but Mike Tomlin. This might be a weird thing to say. He seems like he's a much better coach with less talent than with like the ceiling talent teams that he's had, if that makes any sense. Obviously, they were very successful, but his best work comes, as I guess a lot of coaches, he doesn't seem like the perfect personality for ceiling talent, but he is the perfect guy for raising mids across the board.
Yeah, well, I think that's what we're going to see amongst these new school coaches, where like you guys, hammer Mike McDaniel all the time because he's done such a poor job this year with injuries. I don't think that Mike Tomlin would have that problem in Miami because I think the way that he coaches up subpar talent to be average talent to be very good talent, where I don't think someone like Mike McDaniel has that in him. He is going to scheme up plays with the talent that he has and understand how to move those pieces around. They're two separate types of coaches. I can't think of another coach, at least over the probably past, maybe Pete Carroll is another one who's very much in a similar vein where, you hire him not for scheme, not for X's and O's, to just get the most talent and effort and to buy into whatever system that you're selling. And that's what he is good at. And sometimes with
decision making. And how many coaches in the NFL could make that switch to Russell Wilson when you're 4-2 and Fields really hasn't been playing that badly? Who else? How many coaches would smell that out?
I think he was in a win-win situation with that Russell Wilson thing, though.
His greatest.
It was clear that he knew He knew that Wilson was the better option than Justin Fields, but at the same time, because it came out before the year that story was planted that he said that Russell Wilson's going to get a chance to start for this team, and then he was unhealthy the entire time, and then it got to the point where he was healthy enough to play that, let's turn to Justin Fields, let's turn to Russell Wilson. They knew it was the right idea, but if Wilson had flamed out, Tomlin still seems like he's the man of his word if he flames out and they go back to Fields after one game. Like, it was win-win for him.
I mean, the amount of accomplishments the man has had, but truly history will remember him. Fans of our era of his era will remember him for the work he was able to do with the litany of psych
cases.
ward receivers.
Yeah.
Like that he dealt with, that he overcame, that he got what he got out of them. A true legend of the sport. Yeah, I got nothing else there. I'm on Pittsburgh.
We're at the time of year where people are going to ask you what you want for a gift, and you're going to say, I don't want anything, or I don't know. Here's an answer. Dewar. My Dewar pants I got last week are the most comfortable pieces of clothing that I own. I got a pair of denim stretch jeans and these joggers. These joggers are amazing. You get them in a whole bunch of colors, but they don't look like joggers. So when you go out into public, I mean, we would wear crappy jogging pants out in public because they're so comfortable all the time, but then people see you're like, who is this absolute goober walking around in his joggers wearing his pajamas? No. The Dewar joggers look so good. They are lightweight, they are stylish, they are relaxed, and beyond anything, they again are the most comfortable things I own. I wore them like 3 days in a row, which is a lot for a pair of pants. I absolutely love my Dewars, and I know you're gonna love them too. Check out Dewar's flagship stores in LA or Denver, or shop online at shopdewar.com/PME. Right now, here's the thing. My listeners, you good people, listening to the Pat Mayo Experience, get 20% off your first purchase when you use my exclusive URL, shopdewar.com/PME. This is an awesome deal. Don't wait. Go get 20% off right now at shopdewar.com/PME. That brings us to the midway point of the show, which means it's time for a mini version of Cust Corner.
Tim and Cust.
Well, I mean, this will be mini because I really didn't have much to talk about this week. We talked about a lot of the stuff.
Hey, when you say that, it always ends up being a really good topic. Don't forget that.
Something that has, and this may be just what's on my TikTok, but something that's been bothering me a lot recently are everybody seems to be into these things called simmer pots. And I don't understand why people are so obsessed with them. They seem like such a waste of resources. Why would you want to spend energy and supplies and fruit and vegetables and spices just to simmer them on your stove to allow for an aroma to go through your house? It seems so silly that this has become like one of the big trends that everybody is doing. I don't understand it. I would never do this. I don't understand what the allure of this is. It seems like a total online thing, but yet I see it all the time. So I have to suspect.
Have you seen it in real life?
No, I haven't.
So it's an online thing.
But I'm seeing it so much. Well, the stuff I'm seeing online is happening in real life. Like, these are not like AI images of it happening.
Oh, you don't know that. They might be.
They're not. They're not.
You just want to get on here and talk about woke aerosol cans?
What home and garden feed? And you just...
I don't know. But this is what I've been seeing a lot of on my feed the last week are these things called simmer pots, and I don't understand them. They seem like a lot of work. The people making the simmer pots,
the people putting these simmer pots together that need to like change the aura in their house.
It doesn't seem like that.
Tim,
it seems
let's
like
just put it this way. Let me tell you something, friend. They've had a rough week. Okay, they've had a rough week.
Like, why would you slice like oranges and put rosemary and cinnamon in a pot of water just to boil it on your stove and waste all this energy?
Why did people burn?
You literally use bottled water to boil, and you're going to talk about anyone wasting anything?
Well, it is wasteful. It's just, I don't understand where this comes from. Like, why you would do it. Like, you have to be watching so it doesn't boil over just in case. Like, I don't know. I don't understand this whole trend.
You could definitely low simmer and leave it.
Yeah,
maybe
I mean,
you could.
this
Like, what are you talking about?
this
Boil over.
the simmer pot thing. So if people don't know what simmer pots are, because I had no idea,
I had to Google it.
I just
Tim.
Googled what is
Pat,
it. What
yeah.
is a simmer pot? Because
Yeah.
I've never heard of this before. Is an assortment of ingredients combined together in water and set on a medium heat to simmer for a few hours, releasing a more concentrated aroma in the air. It's healthier than aerosol and often faster at enveloping the room in a scent than a burning candle would be. This sounds like people who own crystals and essential oils, Tim.
Okay, it just seems like everybody is doing it.
Who's
this
every?
year. It's become like
Who is everybody?
a lot of people on my feeds are doing it.
When asked,
What
do
are
you
your
know anyone? The answer was no. Paul actually has something to say. Maybe he's a big simmer pot guy. I don't know.
I have a reason for why it may be showing up on Tim's feed. He is the guy who decorates.
Yeah, he said that's what I said. His
Every
home and
single
garden.
season.
He's looking for
So, like-
seasonal decor, and this
Well,
comes
see, but
up in the
the
algo.
seasonal decor is charming.
Yeah, but maybe this
It's not-
but maybe this is the other part of seasonal decor because you probably have your
I
Christmas.
have
you
been
probably have,
searching
you
for-
Tim,
So you've been
I
searching
have
for
been
like
searching.
A Christmas
have you been
aromas, and
beating
this
to
came
Martha
out.
again?
Martha,
I
you
have
watched
been-
the doc. Had some Martha
Have you-
beats.
I
We're-
have
my
been
wife
searching
is
for, like,
obsessed.
decor.
My wife is an obsessed Martha fan. So, Jesus, I've already her newest book's already been purchased.
Did you watch
but-
Did you watch the documentary? My wife watched it this week. I got like the last 20 minutes of it.
Yeah, parts of it. I'm in and out. There's so much Martha stuff always on TV in my house. I'm in and out of all of it.
Is the language in that documentary also so foul you have to turn it off when your children come in the room?
Nope, but listen.
I want to watch it. I've actually heard good things about it. But yes, I have been searching home decor stuff because Christmas season is coming up.
So
and
this is
I
just
like,
where you're in. You're in the. You're
but
stuck
this is
in the
not.
loop.
But this is not the sort of stuff I'm looking up.
Yeah, but this is all
they
part of the
just-
same algorithm,
It's
though.
all-
This is
yeah,
why it's
it's the
showing
death
up.
loop.
It's feeding
No,
it
but
for
like
you.
they keep showing it to me, and I don't want to see it.
But you keep watching it.
Yeah, you keep watching
Well,
it.
yeah, it's not. It comes on my feed. What am I supposed to do?
Flip through it.
Yeah, just don't stop. The moment you stop, it thinks that you're watching it. Hey, this is stuff that you like. We'll
No,
show
but then
you.
like I want to see what foolishness they're going to put in this pot.
Do you know
Well, why
how
do you
much
think it keeps
trouble I've-
giving it to you?
But
Tim.
I don't like it. It's
Then
supposed to be able
stop
to read my
then
mind.
stop
No,
watching
these
it.
things are supposed to be able to read my mind and know what I'm thinking.
Can
And
I
like,
tell
know
you
that I
something?
don't like
do you
it.
know how they can read your mind when you stop on something and watch a video for 30 seconds or a minute every time, and you're
No,
like,
but
well,
it annoys me. They've gotta know it's annoying me.
He must like this.
No, but they
So
gotta know
I
I'm
have
annoyed.
gone out of my, like I said, I've gotten absorbed in some content. There's a lot of networks bragging about their ratings from the last week. I've been contributing to that. But there's also been some things that I've caught myself watching and seeking out, but I'm literally afraid. I'll own this. I'll own this right now. I've like hate watched The View a couple times in the last couple weeks, like segments on the internet. But I'm afraid to type The View into my YouTube because I love YouTube and I cherish my YouTube. And when I'm out of this in like a few more days, I promise, I'll want my feeds back. And I don't want that in there ever. Ever. So Tim, and guess what? I went around it and it still now sends me shit.
Why don't
So
you just DVR the episodes of the show and watch it later?
I'm not watching The View at home on my TV. I'm watching like a segment on the YouTube on my phone.
Is it giving you like Whoopi Goldberg stand up?
No, it is.
Is it
no,
like you might
no.
like Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit?
Loved as a kid. My mom, yeah, we loved
I love those
Sister
movies.
Act.
I love those
were,
movies.
Those were
Here-
classics.
Here's a supercut of Guinan from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
That happened again this weekend, by the way. It was HalCon here in town. And here I am downtown on Sunday. And people are dressed in the most obscure costumes. And it was just so aggravating. It's like, oh, if you don't remember from episode 2 of Battlestar Galactica, this background character who was there in 1/10 of a frame, that's who I'm dressed up as.
You know,
like,
I
Now-
would
now
try
when
to
you-
explain
when
this
you
to
say,
you.
when you
but
say episode 2 of Battlestar Galactica, do you mean the episode 33, which was technically the first episode of Battlestar
I
Galactica,
have
of the new
no
one after the
idea.
mini movie, or the second
Nerd,
episode of coming back into
Nerd. I don't know. How could I know? I don't watch those shows.
it?
I think
you're
I'm
too busy
pretty
watching
well
Matlock?
No, I mean, I watch the comic book movies. That's the extent of what I know.
So again, HalCon is not for you. You didn't even think about going. You didn't even know it was happening. So obviously,
Had
you
no
don't
idea
understand.
it was happening until I walked into a group of people dressed up like obscure characters, and I was like, I don't even know who these people are.
Are you sure they're obscure characters just because you don't know who they are?
Look, if they were like dressed up as Wolverine, I'd know who the person was.
Doing this, having this discourse, you're just gotta walk the same line as the matzo sticks and party. Tim, he just doesn't understand why those characters are what plays the
No,
hardest.
dress up as Batman. Then people know who you are.
See,
No.
that's what I do with my kids, Tim. That's what you dress kids in.
No.
Yes.
It's like the same reason
It's like when
I'd get like the worst. When I used to love the Leafs so much, I'd literally get a jersey of like the worst guy on the team,
or when you show up to like
and I'd be proud to wear that jersey because I didn't need to be
you wear
one
your
of the.
David Clarkson jersey around town, do you?
No, this is way before that. We're talking more like Alan McCauley and shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like that was my bag. I didn't even know Cujo or Matt Sundin. That shit was played. I was gonna be the guy in the arena in the McCauley
You are all
jersey.
about Lonnie Bahanas.
Oh my god, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Bearzine, Modine. Yeah, those are the days.
So what else besides Simmer Pots is coming up on your algorithm or your 4-2 right now, Tim?
That is the main stuff. It's all seasonal things. So like people who are there's also been this great
Guy
meme.
who fucking decorates is.
There's also been a great meme that has been, and so people are using it in all kinds of various ways. It's this cat that's dressed up like a witch, and the cat like is like superimposed on a broom, and then like the cat looks at the camera and then just sails away. And it's like people are using this meme.
Can you
for,
send
like,
it to Tim to Paul right now?
like
I want
and
to
they're-
know what you're talking about.
It's just it's a cat on a broom dressed up like a witch. And like the cat sails away, like looks at at the screen and like sails away quietly. And basically, people are using this GIF as like ways to express their social awkwardness. Like, oh, my telephone rings and I see who's on I see I have to answer a call, and the cat sails away. Stuff like that, or like
Can
people
you
are
explain that?
expressing
Can you explain the meme one more time?
okay, there's a cat, like a long-haired cat, and she's dressed up like a witch, and she's on a broom, and she like looks at the screen, and like it's a real life cat, and like it looks at the screen and like has this awkward look on her face, and then she sort of like seems like she's like flying away from you. And the whole thing is like people are using it to describe their like social awkwardness of like them trying to like quietly leave a situation because something has happened that makes them feel socially awkward. And words don't do it justice, but I have laughed at nearly every one of those. They're really funny. I've enjoyed those.
Cat witch meme. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we are. It's October 1st, Tim. It's spooky time. My algorithm, Geoff, has not changed in 5 years, no matter which social platform I'm on. It has at-home workouts with dumbbells only, chipping tips for golf, and chicks with big racks. That's it. That's all I see.
It's the viral flying witch cat meme. That's what it
Okay.
is.
Pat,
Yeah?
maybe this can get us, Cam can get to be cracker of the day.
Maybe. Oh, how jealous would Tim be if Cam got to be cracker of the day and not him?
I don't even follow AB's Twitter account. I just like will tune in on occasion to see what foolishness he's tweeting.
You gotta follow. You're lying. You're just trying.
No, I
to,
don't. I
like-
don't. No,
yeah.
I literally don't follow.
You're just trying not to offend anyone by saying you
No,
don't
it's
follow.
true.
You follow.
It's true. My hand to God, I don't follow him. I just will like search his tweets like once a week or so to see what he's up to.
Well, it sounds like you should follow him then if you're actively going out of... Who else's tweets do you go out of your way to search but you don't follow them?
I don't know. I can't think of anybody else.
It sounds like you just follow
Also,
AB.
Pat, it's helped me. I mean, you're not like. How do I put this? This probably doesn't matter for you
Okay.
because you play it like straight down the line. But this new feature on Twitter where people who've blocked you can now see them.
Okay.
Yes, I've noticed that.
People have blocked you?
Oh yeah, people block me.
Who has blocked you?
Random people who think I'm like incredibly
Yeah, but
bad
you don't
luck.
care about their tweets.
No, I don't.
So
what you're
that's
saying is that you're
different.
seeing a lot of
Rovell tweets.
yeah, so you're seeing a lot of Ravel tweets all of a sudden.
Not so much, but there's a few, I guess. So that's good. I appreciate that.
You're
that
saying you haven't
feature.
left for Blue Sky, Geoff?
Oh my god!
No.
I keep forgetting that it's called Blue Sky because the first time I saw it, I thought it was called Blue Ski, and that's where people were going. I couldn't imagine being on Blue Ski. I just can't. Like
It would be like that episode of Itchy and Scratchy where she says, "More lemonade, thanks." That's what it would be like.
I actually feel it's like the episode of Worker and Parasite when Itchy and Scratchy had left for the Gabbo show and they had to replace it with something else. It's like, what is this? Blue Ski. Although
Someone put
I do have a secret secret fetish for going on, like when I'm on Instagrams, it'll feed you like things people have posted on Threads, and I'll just like randomly click on them. That place is a fucking, like, people can talk as much shit as they want about X and Twitter, and yes, it is a cesspool depending on where you go. I don't know what is going on some of these other social platforms and what the hell people are posting about. It is craziness.
I'm really only on Twitter.
I always see the Threads because I go on Instagram.
I'm going that. It bothers me.
And then I have to go on Reddit, Tim, of Our City's Reddit, and hear people complain about tax decreases. It's insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Reddit is awful.
Yes. Oh no, this guy's CTE of the day. Oh, it's Tua. That's too bad. Do you think Tua will join CT ESPN, Tim? When his career
No, I
is
do
over?
not. No, I do not.
Jeff?
That'd be amazing, but
Jeff,
no.
Would you leave Mayo Media Network tomorrow if Antonio Brown offered you a job?
I feel like I could do both.
You think so?
Yeah. I feel like I could do both. As long as the other company that isn't Antonio Brown's is still willing to have you, I think you could get away with doing both. The problem is not that wouldn't work for a lot of people.
Oh, you'd be fine here on MMN. Everyone sub to MMN, all right? Let's get back to the game. Seattle and San Francisco is up next. San Francisco is what do I have here for San Francisco? 6.5 point favorite at home against the Seahawks. Tim, I know you hate San Francisco. This doesn't feel like it's big enough, though.
No, I mean, Seattle's coming off of a bye, and it's an in-division game, and San Francisco doesn't beat anybody just about by margin. I'll take the
except for
Seahawks.
Seattle.
That was one game. You're right. I just think coming off the bye, they'll be well prepared for this. I like Seattle in this game.
All right,
Close.
I like San Francisco minus 6.5. Jeff, just Seattle outdoor sucks, and San Francisco will eventually play one game where everything goes right for them, and just horrible things don't happen in one facet of their game.
So you're that last sentence there was exactly my thoughts on this game. I'm on San Francisco. That game where they actually make their kicks, don't do 5 stupid things. It's coming. It's probably this week. They'll win by double digits.
Okay. Next game. Atlanta and Denver. Denver is a 2-point favorite now. So the money moving towards Denver in this game, taking on Atlanta here. Atlanta coming off the loss to the Saints a week ago. Did you see, we talked about Tampa winning the division on Sunday night, Jeff. They were 9-1, and by Monday morning they were 6-1, which was far less appealing for what they would actually have to do in order to win. However, their live win total for the rest of the season is 8.5 with 7 games remaining. They'd have to go 5-2 to beat that number, but it's juiced up to plus 120. Doesn't that seem like a really good bet? I hammered it.
Yeah, they're feisty. The schedule's easy. If the Falcons drop a game or two, then it could fall to them. I'm going to take Atlanta here. I'm not a teaser player, but if I was making one this weekend, Atlanta would probably be on it too.
Yeah, Tim, you'd sniffed out Atlanta last week. You were in on New Orleans, and obviously New Orleans ended up winning just because don't ever trust Atlanta. Is this like the zag spot with them where everyone seems to be on Denver now that it is time to go back to Atlanta?
Possibly, but I will take the Broncos here. simply because I thought they showed some real gumption against Kansas City in a game. I thought after getting blown out the week before, they might get blown out again and they might start to spiral, but they sure didn't. They played good football. So I will take the Broncos here.
I'm actually going to side with Geoff here and go with Atlanta +2. Yeah, I guess this would be a teaser game to get up, especially if it gets to 2.5. That would be something to wait for. But we have seen Denver, like, no one would paint Kansas City's offense with the brush of elite offense. Would they, Tim?
I couldn't imagine.
No, but you would do that with Baltimore. I think Baltimore has the best offense in the league right now. And Atlanta's, I would say,
They are the Lions.
I would say that Atlanta's more high flying than Kansas City is. That seems to be the type of team that would give the Broncos problems. That can beat you both deep but on the ground at the same time, where they have to kind of commit to shutting down one part of your game, and to do that to Atlanta is a little bit more difficult. It's funny because Atlanta killed Carolina 2 weeks ago when Carolina beat them. To look at the numbers and even to watch the game, Atlanta kind of steamrolled New Orleans last week and just didn't win.
Missed field goals, 3 of them.
That was San Francisco.
Atlanta missed field goals too, no?
They missed 3?
Who missed one big one? I know for sure.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm mixing the Atlanta and Tampa games up with the mixed field goals. But
Denver missed one. I remember that.
I thought Koo missed a couple, but whatever. Yeah. Did we forget a game? And I'm not talking about the Jets.
No, I have them all. I mixed up the order this week to put the good game. So I didn't want to miss one of the good games at the very back end like we normally do. So I just moved them all up.
Cool.
Yeah. Producing on the fly here. So Atlanta for Geoff and I, Denver for the coin and Tim. Jets hosting Indy. Tim, the Jets are up to 3.5-point favorites now.
They're 4 in some spots. That's only going to keep rising. It's so distressing. They don't win, but they keep getting favored week after week after week.
I mean, they beat Houston 2 weeks ago.
See, there it is. See, there's the meme. Me, when plans start after 8 p.m. and the cat just then disappears into the background. See, I can relate to that.
Okay, man. Like,
you really are like an 80-year-old woman. It's unbelievable. This is something that my grandma would show me on her iPad when I would go over to her house.
I can't even believe this.
It's so funny. No, but it is though. Like, it's wholesome and it's funny.
Are you like I don't know. You're in a part of the internet where it seems like a lot of your friends online are coping with crafts this week.
Yes, I am seeing a lot of craft work done this week as well. People just trying to get through the week, Geoff.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Do we like the Jets here?
I mean, their front four should cause such calamity for Indianapolis. But yeah, I guess I'll take them.
Have you watched any of the Steichen pressers? I'm going to assume no.
I can't watch those now. Oh, no. I don't care.
But they're hard because the media is just desperate. Like, okay, we accept your decision. You won't even tell us like anything about what's going on. You just say that Richardson has to work on things. Can you tell us like what he needs to work on? Like, what is it? What is the plan? And they don't say a word. They do not say a word. Fuck, I've lost so much money on the Jets. If I get off now, Indy will certainly win. I'm just going to stay on the Jets. I don't know that I'm actually going to bet them, but I don't. Yeah, Jets -4. Fucking.
Yeah, I can see where you've been watching on your algorithm there, Mr. Beeps.
I don't even know where that's coming from. I don't appreciate that.
Been watching too many Jake Paul, Mike Tyson documentaries.
It's way worse than that on there.
I'm going to take Indy. 3.5 just seems like too much. Just give Jonathan. If they only run one play, Tim, and it's give Jonathan Taylor the ball, do you think that Indy can cover this number?
Absolutely. Can they? The Jets don't win any games.
You just
Indianapolis cover them?
You just took the Jets.
I'm a sucker for punishment, but I'm not here putting them in a teaser or a parlay or telling you to do anything with it. I'm just saying, like, yeah, I think that the defensive line will just demolish Flacco, and I think he's going to have real trouble scoring. But it won't shock me if the Jets lose like 9-6.
Rams
Why would it?
Rams at New England is the next game. The Patriots are 4.5-point dogs at home. Rams obviously coming off the loss on Monday Night Football. They're not 3-6 against the spread. I feel like the pieces that we see when the Rams play well, Geoff, it gets us all hyped about the Rams. Then we forget that they can't block, for one thing. And I didn't think that was going to be a problem against the Patriots, who had no pass rush until last week, mysteriously. So if it goes back to that, what they were previous to playing Chicago, that I would just assume Stafford picks them apart.
So I think I really like the Rams here, despite waxing poetic and overrating Drake May. I actually think sort of what has happened in the last week creates like an absolute in on the Rams scenario for this game, Pat.
Yeah, it's like a value bubble, because if the Rams win and the Patriots lose last week, this is like 7.5 Rams.
Yeah, so this could even be a super lock. I think the Rams unlock a bit here, and the Patriots, I'm banking on them sort of being on the tier of team we sort of always figured they are this year, at least.
You like the Patriots every week, though, Tim, don't you?
I like them again this week. I think it's too many points. I think the Patriots play. I keep saying the Patriots are a really good bad team. They're not close to the worst team in the NFL.
They're a good teaser team, it seems, this year.
Yeah,
then,
they
right?
would be. They'd be a good teaser team here again, because I don't think the Rams are blowing anybody out. Yeah, I think the Patriots cover. It's a close game. Maybe the Rams win like 17-13, something like that.
All right, next game, Cleveland and New Orleans. The Saints are favored by a point in a Jameis revenge game right now. I guess you get MVS on your roster, and all of a sudden your offense is fixed if you're New Orleans. But, Geoff, I like the Browns coming off a bye here. I think the Browns are just significantly better than the Saints. Like, the Saints shouldn't have won last week. They just lost to Carolina. I know that Cleveland isn't a world beater, but I do think that they'll be able to move the ball pretty well here against a no-defense Saints team.
Yeah, no opinion, low thought. I'll be on the Browns. The Saints, good for them. They had the coach bump last week, fired coach. Wish I bet that, because it's something I like to do, but I'm a sucker for the Falcons. But I think this one is Brownies off a bye. Jameis will still be shit, but I'll pick him to win.
Tim?
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I like the Browns coming off the bye. Jameis probably playing a little bit better. I like the fact that it's indoors. The Browns should be able to score a few more points. And yeah, I don't trust the Saints team. I don't care that they're at home. I don't care that they've won the last week. I'm going with the Browns.
Minnesota at Tennessee. Tennessee is a 6-point dog at home against the fighting Sam Darnold. The total in this game is 39.5. I kind of lean the Vikings here, because this is exactly the type of defense that turns over Will Levis 4 times. But Jake and I talked this through on the Power Ranking show, Geoff, that even though they're 7-2, I think they're 7-2. They're 7-2 or 6-3. 7-2, right? The Vikings? Yeah, 7-2.
Yeah.
They feel like they're a 4-5 team.
Fair.
Like,
But yeah, they
Darnold is just
started
getting
gangbusters.
worse. Darnold's turning back into that Darnold we used to bet against every week.
This could be a super lock. He won't have a clue what he's going to do against Brian Flores. They could pick six him. It could go the other way. Even if they don't, they're just so horrible. Kevin O'Connell will find the players on the Titans defense who you can pick on, and they'll be picked on. I'll lay the points.
I kind of see it the same as Geoff, Tim, that I think is a good matchup for the Vikings. I just am really freaked out by Darnold right now.
I look at a total of 39.5, and I think I want +6.
You could say
That's
that,
what I
but I
think.
mean, that 39.5 could just be 30-9.
Maybe, but when was the last time the Vikings looked good in a game? Been a little while. It's been a while.
Well, you know who's the recipe for that?
The Titans.
Will Levis.
I don't
And
trust. I don't
I
trust the
trust
Vikings.
O'Connell to scheme it up.
Like it'd be one thing,
Maybe.
Like it'd be one thing if the Titans could rely on their defense. They have a better than average defense, but it's not great. Their offense is putrid, and they have the league's worst special teams unit. Like that. That is just that's one of the reasons why New England's been like, all right, they have pretty good special teams. Like that helps you out over the course of a game. Like when you're not making kicks and giving up terrible field position, just compound. It gives your defense no break, and it just compounds how shitty you are, especially when Levis is turning the ball over too. Like you're just giving like. If the defense is going to carry you and keep you within this +6, you'll probably need a long score at some point, a long run, and Darnold to have, 2 picks, Tim?
Definitely within the way he's playing like he's the Darnold of the Jets the last few weeks.
Yeah.
He's going to throw bad picks. He's going to turn the ball over in the red zone. And when they do that and they don't score points, that makes that spread that much harder to cover.
I'm closer to Jake than Pat in terms of because I know Jake is quite high on the Vikings. I'm not.
You're
I
like
don't think
Mr.
they're the
Viking.
dregs
You're
that
like
you kinda
Mr.
make them out
Viking,
to
though.
be.
You always love the Vikings. You don't
Guilty.
think when we
Guilty.
get to the playoffs and it's like Minnesota at Tampa Bay, you're gonna be like, oh man, I love Minnesota here.
Yes, you know it. You know me.
But it'll actually be Minnesota at Atlanta would be the game.
Yeah, I literally felt like the Pillsbury Doughboy. Like you mentioned that I am a sucker for the Vikings. I'm guilty. You caught me.
And look, their record is good, but I don't think anyone's watching them right now and be like, man, they're going to be a tough out. Maybe.
I agree.
Maybe
You might get one chance in your whole life to pick against Sam Darnold in the playoffs. Don't let that opportunity pass you by.
It's really funny because the way that this Darnold season is going, they might end up making the playoffs, but he is insured, I think, he's a backup for the next 10 years somewhere. And he might get the occasional
100%.
start. And you would want him for 2 games as a backup. It'd be great. It's just when you start seeing him in week 10, it's like, this isn't going so great anymore.
He seems like also a guy who teams will enjoy having there when they draft a high pick because he seems like a really great guy. He really understands. He understands the game. And I say that based on the 2 coaches that hired him quickly since being a draft bust, and that was Shanahan and O'Connell, who we revere as bright offensive guys, and their backup quarterbacks serve a purpose to their brain. So I believe he has that role down pat. And like you said, just look at the organizations and the coaches he's been through. He will be a hot commodity backup, just like he was a day 1 signing in free agency last year by Kevin O'Connell.
Minnesota for you and I think we picked every game the same, Geoff, except for this Jets game. Tennessee for Tim and the coin. Final game, Monday Night Football, a real barn burner. Houston at Dallas. Houston is a 7.5 point favorite on the road this week against Dallas. It looks like Cooper Rush is going to be playing quarterback again for the Cowboys. That's not official as of right now. I don't know if because it's the Cowboys, because they're at home, or maybe it's because it's a night game and they won't get sun in their eyes the entire time. I don't see how they can't be double-digit underdogs to basically anyone with a pulse right now. I'm taking Houston.
Yeah, I am too. I'm not concerned with the fact that the Texans haven't looked, super great the last couple of weeks. Dallas just seems completely flattened and dead. And I just can't imagine them getting up to win a game like this in prime time or even keeping it close. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Texans as well.
It's hard not to agree. I mean, the only thing that could have me bet Dallas is the whole world's on Houston. The spread's flirting with 10 come Monday. This is a chance. I know it doesn't mean anything and it's not a rivalry technically, but as an organization, the Texans will be relishing the opportunity to beat the fuck down the Cowboys. Everyone who's a Texans fan probably decided earlier in life that they want nothing to do with the Cowboys. So not that matters for capping, but it's an important game. Their first ever game, they beat the Cowboys. I remember that because I got eliminated on a Survivor. I trusted a Quincy Carter Cowboys team to beat an expansion team.
You didn't know that David Carr hadn't sustained 5,000 sacks as of that point yet, so he was still fresh.
Yeah, I think Dallas was an 8-point favorite that night. All I care about this game was on my notes here to ask Pat a question.
Oh,
and maybe it's probably in the newsletter, which has probably already been sent out, and now I'm being lazy. Where is CD Lamb now? Like top 15, top 20, like top 25, worse?
I actually haven't done the rankings for this week. I put them out on Wednesday afternoons now. Once we get
blind
more,
them, just blind. Like what the fuck are we
15?
dealing with now? Yeah.
Although I think they shut him down soon. I think his shoulder's hurt.
Oh, yeah. I guess makes sense.
Like Cooper Rush is trying to force feed him the ball, so that's helpful. In a way.
I don't think Jake Ferguson has scored a touchdown this year.
Is that true?
I honestly think it's true. I own him in my home league.
Did you just roll out the Cowboys stack? I mean, not much is being made that Tim hates Tyreek Hill, yet drafted him in the first round of his fantasy league, and now he sucks. That's just
well, I traded him for a second round pick.
Who'd you draft him over? Chase?
Yeah,
Jefferson?
I had the second pick in the draft, and I took him second. Better pick McCaffrey.
I don't know. I'd rather. I
got a second round pick for Hill. I wouldn't have got a second round pick. I don't think for McCaffrey.
If you had traded McCaffrey today, you'd get a first round pick for him. If you traded him 2 weeks ago, you would have got a first round pick for him.
I don't know.
It is unfortunate. I mean, there's so many great memes or like internet jokes that Mr. Burns, like Jerry Jones, is a real life version of Mr. Burns, like owning a team.
Do you think they ever have Jerry Jones as Mr. Burns in a meme, and then a cat dressed as a witch on a stick that flies away?
The thing about
Like,
Mr. Burns knew how to block out the sun.
No owner who gets involved today thinks they can like run the team. Even as much as like your Teppers and your Steve Cohen.
Yeah, he does it every single week.
Yeah,
no. But Woody bought that team a long time ago. He bought that team in like the mid 90s. There was an era back in the day where like when you bought the team, you thought you could be GM.
Isn't that basically what Tepper does in Carolina?
Not really. I mean, he gets a bad rep for it, but like at his core, he's a data nerd and like he just wants to trust the data. But obviously, when you run interference on first overall and it goes horribly bad, that involves a trade, you're fucked and your talent depleted. Yeah, Dallas is it's just a comedy of errors. Like Mike McCarthy is now dead man walking. Are they going to make Parsons the highest paid defensive player in the league? I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but how that can actually fit with the current structure of what's gone on there, it's just we had a talk a week ago when Pat said, "Are the Cowboys done? Can they save it?" Or 2 weeks ago before Dak got hurt, and Tim was like, "No, they're done." And I was dumb enough to be like, "No, like what do you mean? Like just one win and it's back on track. Of course they can save it." You said it, Pat. This could be arguably, it's like one of the worst situations in the league right now. And I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but it feels like it to me.
This game has the capacity of being that Chargers-Raiders game last year, where it's like Texans
Holy
55,
shit.
Cowboys 10, and McCarthy gets fired the next day.
And they bring in Geoff.
That's a take, Tim.
And then Geoff's their coach.
So are we laying like Houston alt 17 points?
Fuck
well,
it.
I certainly think
You're telling me to lay 30, I think.
I think it's going to be a rout.
And is this on your teaser or money lock or anything?
It's just it doesn't make sense to put it on a money
Is it your
line.
super lock? Because you just projected the score to be 52-7.
It's one of the very few that I really like this week.
Well, let's get to that because it's shortlisted for me as well on Super Locks. I don't have one game. I mean, I am 9-1 in Super Locks. It's the only game I get right all week based on my record. But I'm having a tough time trying to figure out which one.
Carolina's on bye.
Carolina's on bye, and I like the Chargers. I don't love the Chargers, and I made a pact with myself never to take a Thursday night football game because I would take Washington, but I'm saving money never betting Thursday night football because I get it wrong every single week. Instead, I just play an underdog entry using code Mayo. Well, I already use code Mayo. And I just win those. I've won 4 straight Thursday night football plays on underdog.
You're crushing it.
Yeah.
I can tell you that Jalen Hurts is not going to score on Thursday night.
But you like Philly to cover and win?
I do. I know he's going to. It's not going to be like those goal line touchdowns. It's going to be like long passes. Like AJ Brown's going to have a big game.
I can see that.
I don't think Washington can stop them like that close where you're going to have like the 1 yard tush pushes. I don't see it coming.
I mean, that's a take. Just long touchdowns coming from Philly. So I'm between Vegas, Detroit, the Rams, Minnesota, and the Texans. Geoff, would you like to go
Rams.
first?
Well, I'm between two of those, Rams and Minnesota, which are two road teams laying awkward numbers. I'm going to take the Rams.
Rams -4.5 for Geoff. Tim?
A short
Texans.
week, East Coast. What an idiot I am.
Texans just barely over the Chiefs.
Houston -7.5 on the road. I'm just going to line up behind Detroit. Rebound week after a tough game. This will be a showcase. I feel like this is going to be a showcase for Goff in this spot. They're going to try to make him look really good and let him keep throwing in this game. And I just don't know how Mac Jones puts up points against.
This could be like the Titans game too, though.
Sure, fine. I'll take it. Where they score like 30 points in 5 minutes and they sit back the entire game. Because Jacksonville ain't coming back.
Goff. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll take Detroit.
Quasi buy.
-13. Moneyline parlay for Tim for the free money. Philly, Chargers, Kansas City, and Baltimore. Is that correct?
Yep, plus 824.
Do you have a Grey Cup pick?
I think the Argonauts pulled off the upset and win it.
Wow.
He's only doing that to get on Huss's good side.
No, I just think that the Argonauts will win.
Game's in, where is it again?
Vancouver.
Who's halftime?
Jonas
The
Brothers.
Jonas Brothers.
Oh, of course.
Will Morency be at the game? It's in
Yeah,
Vancouver.
for sure he will be. For sure. Oh, man. Him and Huss are going to get in there for a couple cannons. Good for them.
Will they? Is that at BC Place?
Yes. It
Yes.
Will that sell out at BC Place?
It'll probably have done really well.
You would think.
I don't know about sell out, but it'll have done really well.
I just know that's a really big.
The thing
stadium.
is, here's the problem. I mean, there's no Argos fans travel. I don't want to say none, but that's a journey, Toronto to BC. And while Winnipeg is hardcore, they've been to so many Grey Cups recently where it's like, why go to the really expensive place where it's always somewhere cheap? If that makes any sense. Like, they've done enough Grey Cups where maybe there's just not the fervor to travel to the really expensive location.
Were Argos fans even packing the Sky Dome when the Grey Cup was there?
Well,
I mean, it was packed.
The
but
one,
it
Like, would they
wasn't-
walk across the street to go there?
the one thing that I noticed about the Grey Cup when it was in Toronto and I was living downtown by Rogers Center was there's just fans of the CFL who show up, like wearing like generic patches from all the teams. Like,
Oh yes,
like, it really makes
it's
no
like
sense to me,
CFL
but-
Comic-Con.
yeah, like it's really weird. But just people who are fans of all of the teams show up, and I've never actually seen one person be a Toronto Argonauts fan. So I don't even,
And
I
yeah,
don't even know
they
how
do
that
so
franchise
many like
exists.
they do so many weird events. Like every city like hosts an event that's like really popular. It's like a pancake breakfast or something really corny like that. And then Pat, you will probably see a couple of like Canadian goobers complaining on Sunday that the CTV or sorry, they put the Super Bowl on CTV but not the Grey Cup, and they think that's disrespectful.
Well, they can keep thinking that. It's like that asshole at the bar that time that tried to put the Grey Cup on one of the screens that I was looking at instead of Sunday Night Football, and I lost my fucking shit.
My guess is that it'll do big ratings. Doesn't it do?
Yeah, but
really
here's
big
the
ratings?
thing. It doesn't do bigger than the fucking Sunday night show that CTV is running. Okay.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, does it or does it not?
It
No,
doesn't.
if it did, they'd air it there.
Okay, that stands to reason. I thought maybe TSN just proprietarily wants it on their network.
Wouldn't they proprietarily want the Super Bowl?
Well, yes and no. I mean, the Super Bowl's not their production.
Okay, fair. You're okay. Those are fair
It's
points.
the same company.
Yes, it is the same company.
But like
So
TSN
now-
doesn't run the World Juniors on CTV.
I suppose
The
that's
gold medal game if Canada was in it isn't on CTV.
I suppose
Yeah,
that's
because it's not big enough. Well, maybe
The
No,
World Junior gold medal with
you're right.
Canada
No, I
in
take it back. I tried to stop mid putting my foot.
like the Grey Cup in Canada probably at least is comparable or maybe even outrates the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised about that, but I think that it is. I think that it does actually, and it's just a more
It doesn't because it's not on CTV.
a more casual fan base will watch the Super Bowl versus the Grey Cup nationwide. Like all the hardcores who care about Canadian football will tune in. They have TSN to watch every CFL game and to tune into the Grey Cup, where my wife might watch the Super Bowl with me. So it needs to be on CTV.
Right.
Like they're not selling extra TSN. They're not selling the TSN Plus package on Super Bowl only, where you can sell the TSN Plus package for CFL games for extra content. Therefore, everything needs to be over there, would be my guess.
Yeah, I agree. And just the commercial inventory, even if it's the Canadian commercials, come on.
Well,
Get out of here,
we
CFL
we can find this out. Grey Cup TV ratings 2023, Super Bowl ratings Canada 2023.
Not even close.
Canada total audience reach 10.1 million viewers of the Super Bowl last year, and the Grey Cup was 3.59. So you're correct, not even close.
But also, again, see, when it's on TSN, it's on cable, and that is a big difference in the amount of homes it can reach.
Yeah, no, you're correct. Did you know? This is interesting. The 7th highest viewed sporting program in the history of Canadian TV was last year's Super Bowl.
I would not have guessed that.
Like I said, the Taylor Swift and the Super Bowl just keeps growing.
When it went to
So,
overtime.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
Yeah, number one, I think is a pretty easy guess if you had to guess.
2010
gonna
Olympic
guess-
gold medal game.
You got it.
Yeah. What else could it be? Probably got like a 92 share or something.
It had 17 million viewers approximately.
Yeah.
And the 2002 game was the Crosby Golden Goal game was 10.3. But it's
Well,
basically
that was 2010.
that was 2010.
Yeah.
was-
Joe Sakic is 2002.
That's right. That was the
Salt Lake City.
That's right. Yeah, the 5 highest rated things in Canadian TV history are all 2010 Winter Olympics coverage stuff, which makes sense. It was
Doesn't
in
surprise
Canada.
me. It doesn't surprise me. People love the Olympics. They love watching Canada do well in the Olympics.
Yeah, and it's all men's hockey or opening and closing winter game ceremonies.
Yeah. I believe
Although
it.
I recall the opening ceremonies being really good to those games and the closing ceremonies being awful.
I don't remember anything about the closing
I
ceremony.
remember they had like 5 people. I think Mike Myers was one of them, and like it was like a comedy skit, and it just really wasn't good.
Okay. I honestly don't remember anything about it. Closing ceremonies are nowhere near as good as the opening ones. For obvious, I mean, that goes without saying.
All right, well, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience for this week. We'll be back with the best bets on Wednesday evening with Cam and Rob. Hopefully, Cam will be there. I think that he will. I was talking to him earlier today. Remember to send your messages, kind messages at that, to @CamStewartLive and show your support for Cam Stewart because he's getting beat up pretty badly and he didn't expect this coming. And he's not really on the internet all that much, Geoff, so this is a big shocker to him.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, send him a love. I'm trying to figure out if I knew his exact address because I would literally like send him some donuts right now.
I'll see if I can find his address for you and get back to you. How about that? Should I say it on the show?
No.
Oh my goodness.
Then he'll blame you for his next stolen package.
Thanks to Paul and Jared behind the camera, to Geoff the Coin, and Tim Andergust.
Tim and Gust.
Not my name.
All right, we will see you all next week, but just a reminder to you good people, use code Mayo at Underdog and sign up to play in the giant one and done $1 million guaranteed in the prize pool for the Race for the Mayo Cup this year. Get yourself in early. It's already 8% full. It's not even December yet. This stuff fills faster than you think every single year. If you're one and done curious, I would say go get your spot right now. And Geoff, as you know, I mean, maybe you don't know, but Tambo and I both do it, that it makes a really nice Christmas gift for someone in your life that you want to have more interaction with who might like golf. Like your dad might be able to get into it, maybe.
Yeah, no, that's actually a great point. It's a great gift, and it also sets up if you're trying to have like sweet nothing conversations with someone, a friend, talk to them more often. This is the way. This is the
Particularly
way.
if you
It's a
can't talk
gift.
about Matlock because you don't agree whether you like the show or not.
So you're
There
gonna
it is.
you're gonna buy your grandma a one and done entry this year?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
No.
She doesn't like golf like my grandma.
No, she does not like golf.
My I think
Although she will watch like the last round of the Masters or the U.S. Open. She will watch those.
Jeff, my grandma, who is I think she turns 88 this year, watches like every shot of every tournament every week. It's hilarious.
Oh, good for her.
She's the one who hates.
Does she
Rory.
complain about the commercials too?
No, she just hates Rory, and she hates
Oh.
Spieth. She hates both of them. I don't know why. Just an irrational hatred of those two people.
Wonder if she misses the half-hour break like I do.
I don't think she ever really noticed, to tell you the truth. And you don't even watch golf. What do you care?
I miss that and the MDF. Those are the two things I miss most.
Okay, Tim was telling me the other day, here's his understanding of what the MDF is. Because I told him they weren't getting the rounds in due to darkness because of this time of year. It becomes a problem during this part of the year and the early part of the season. He's like, well, it's because they got rid of the MDF, which actually makes no sense because Tim might not know what an MDF is.
Yes, I know what it is. It's an additional cut made after the third round.
Yeah, and how would that help the first two rounds when they're not getting able to play in?
Well, it wouldn't help the first two rounds, but it would help the fourth round.
Well, they're not having a problem with the third and fourth round, Tim. They're having
Well,
a
that
problem with the
wasn't
first
being
two
made clear.
rounds. Really? You think when there's fewer people playing, that's when they were having the problems with darkness?
I think
that was your idea. When you thought about,
thought that was a
hey,
solution.
how are we having problems getting everyone who's playing in this tournament to finish before
Bring
dark?
back the
no,
MDF.
it's not
People
when
loved it.
everyone is playing and there hasn't been a cut yet. No, it's after a cut has been made and there are fewer people playing. That's when we're having time issues here.
bring it back.
It's like you ate paint chips or something or drink lead.
I miss it. Bring it back.
Can you explain what the MDF rule is to me right now and what it was?
It was an additional cut
But
made
why?
after the third round.
That's what it was. But how did it come into effect?
I don't remember the exact.
Yeah, because you have
ins and
no
outs of it.
fucking clue. All right, let's get out of
Well, I
here.
actually have
I'm
some
Pat
of it.
Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Fat Mayo Experience! Experience!